The information shared in these conversations and videos are intended for general knowledge and entertainment purposes only. It should not be considered as legal advice or professional guidance. Additionally, any documentation or references to specific content are solely for the purpose of discussion and understanding. It does not imply endorsement, promotion, or support of said content. The views expressed in these videos and or conversation are those of the individuals involved and do not represent any official stance or opinion. The content you are about to experience may contain strong language, including explicit words and phrases. This language is used for artistic expression and may be integral to the storyline or character development. It is important to note that the use of such language does not endorse or promote offensive behavior. Viewer discretion is advised, and please enjoy the show responsibly. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. The Canadian Copyright Act, Section 29, allows an individual to use copyright-protected materials when creating a new work, such as a mashup, and to post the new work online on a site like YouTube. Fair dealing provision for specific purposes like research, private study, education, parody, satire, criticism, review, and news reporting.
All right, so we're back, and for Steelborn and Gabriel on this side, I sent you both on your Discord the link to the other StreamYard, so you guys can join us on the other side here. And on the live here, I see someone in the back says Danilo. If you could just throw your cam on, give me a peace sign. You can turn your cam off to come up, but if you just can throw me a peace sign and then turn your cam back off before you come up, just so I know there's an actual person in behind there. Or if any of you know this person, that might help. Danilo not in Cali is what he goes by. Steelborn, we don't hear you.
That's because I'm muted.
Oh, okay.
I was reading my chat.
Oh, okay. Welcome back with us, Gabriel and Steelborn.
Congrats, Steelborn, your victory. Congrats.
Congratulations.
It was not overwhelming, but it's definitely majority whelming. So
I missed a lot of it because I had a MRI on my back.
I found it very convincing. Okay, it is overwhelming.
How much was it? About 80%?
Your mic.
What's up?
Your mic, something's going on with
it.
It
It's
super
slight echo.
Sounds super muffly.
I don't know what the fuck is wrong with it.
You have the gain super high.
That too, yeah.
You're the problem, Daniel.
I know, Jungle. You're probably not the victim, though.
Turn your mic back on just so I can see if I can fix something on my side here.
Tim the Real Enchanter says that you should remove the microphone from your throat before you try and talk.
All right, try talking now.
True.
Joe, test.
I mean, it's a little lower now, but it still seems
it's
like
connected to my computer. This is the first time I've used this shit on my computer.
Yeah, that's probably why. You'll need a mic.
Yeah, I need to get funding for this computer.
It sounds like you're in a submarine.
Yeah, you might want to just join from your phone. It might be easier for now.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll do that.
Alright. Yeah, because there's a lot of background noise there. Alright. Yeah, if anyone wants to put the StreamYard or get up here, I'll put the StreamYard link in the chat. So what we're doing here with this, if you guys might have noticed there, what we're doing here with this second channel, like this used to be like the Verbal Kombat clips channel, but I decided this is going to be for like all my open panel stuff, like the open panel chaos and chills. And then this will be its own thing over here.
Can you put your link to channel in the back just so I can share it?
Yeah.
What's up, Emmett?
What up? How you doing, Jungle?
I'm fantastical. You're looking quite Debier over there.
Thank you.
I'm pausing, of course. I'm just giving you a compliment like the ladies would.
I just had a debate on morality like a moment ago. I thought I was ready for the epistemic justification from Gabriel. I really enjoy morality debates.
Oh yeah, definitely morality debates. Definitely.
All right,
we gotta
Emmett,
have
I'm gonna
more.
ask you, Emmett, do you think Gabriel gave any criterion for the net negative?
No.
And do you also agree that by his standard, what he calls a Christian, that Christianity actually has not been net negative for America?
Yeah, I would agree. Well, if
By
you
his
don't
standard,
have
what
an
do you mean? How
idea,
he defines a Christian?
well, I don't
Which
have
basically
what
be himself.
I don't know what is the standard. That's
Basically
the problem.
himself and anybody who agrees with him.
Oh,
That's how he defines
no.
Christian.
I agree that he's a net negative then, because he's a net negative.
No. From by his standard, an internal critique, by his standard, everybody
Yeah.
who thinks like him.
I
They are
think
the
that
true
everybody
Christians.
that thinks like him, even in his own critique, even in his own criteria, is a net negative.
Because there can be improvements, in my opinion.
No,
That's
because
not
you're
why.
a net negative. Even in
Because
your
you're
own
a fucking-
criteria,
that's
you're a
one
net
factor that I'm
negative.
accusing.
You
There-
said
there's-
nothing, dude. You
When
just-
people
no,
ask you,
I
are
did
you
say
a good?
something.
When he asked
I
you
agree.
about
You
it,
spoke. You said words, but the words
Yes.
did not lead to the idea. So what you did was you would give a statement, and that statement would then you would try and connect that to an inference to lead to something else, and then there would be no connection between those things whatsoever.
Mhm.
And by the way, half the time your statement wouldn't even start with like beginning, middle, end. It would go all over the fucking place.
when
Okay.
Carriac's looking extra fucking sharp tonight. ladies and
this is what I
Yeah,
would
it's
say,
cold, that's why
Stillborn.
I
When
put
you
the
ask
jacket on.
him about being a net negative, when you literally ask him about that, he said that he can be and has been a net negative, and then didn't give a criteria of whether he has become a positive or how do you get to the positive part or anything. So even in his own criteria, he's a net negative.
Well, I mean, I specifically asked him. I was like, okay, hold on. We're gonna go with your definition of what a Christian is. Your
Uh-huh.
definition of Christian. It's everybody who shares your theology and acts accordingly. They share your interpretation of the teachings
Yeah.
of Jesus Christ and the teachings of the Scripture. Everybody who agrees with you on this have those
keep
people
saying
which you
mine.
define. I'm saying they share whatever the theology is that you have. They share that. So I'm saying if you were to say, Steelborn, what's your theology? And I would say I believe in in the teachings of the Eastern Orthodox Church. I'm not
Testing.
saying that I created it. I'm saying
Testing.
that's the theology
Good.
that I hold. So if that's the case, all the people
Calling
who
for
share
now.
your theology have they, from your view, Gabe, have they been a net negative to America?
All I'm gonna say is I don't own the yacht. I like to take part of the yacht. That's a precept from the yacht who make it.
It's
Like,
precept.
literally.
It's precept.
Yes, it's precept. Yeah, exactly.
You saying
I'm not-
precept like it's like
Yeah,
a preseparation. It's
preceptualization.
presupposition.
Yes. The Father built the ship.
Preceptualization? No, it's presupposition.
No, constructualization is after the fact. Precept is before the fact. I'm
What
siding
the
with
fuck
the
is he
precept.
talking about?
What the fuck am I
So,
talking about? You keep saying
even-
mine. No, I don't want any a part of it.
I'm
Hey,
not
guys,
saying
can I
that you
just
own
say,
the theology.
hey,
I'm saying
Silborn,
it's
one
the theology
second.
that you hold.
It sounds
Hey,
like
one
to
second,
me.
guys. I just want to jump
The
in real
theology
quick.
that you hold. That's your
Goddamn.
theology.
Calm down.
Look,
One
I'm
second.
a newborn
Hey.
to this. I'm learning as
Hey.
I'm going.
Hey, relax. 1 second. I just want to do one quick thing. I hope you don't mind. I want to shout out SpeakeaZy. Thank you, sir, for hosting the debates. This shit
Agreed.
is crazy good. It was a great debate. You lost like a motherfucker, Gabriel. But
Hey,
you did put up a good
15%, man.
argument. You got some 15% action.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let everybody know one more time. I defeated the great Stillborn in our one debate.
This is true. He has. No, we've had 2 debates, sir.
Yeah, but
We
I
are one
gave
for
you that
one.
one, so you can't even count it.
All right. I'll grant that. That's fair. That seems fair.
Wait.
All right,
what
back to
was
the
the
show.
poll number? What was the poll number?
Poll number was I had to solo judge it just so he could win. That's what happened.
He is the
one.
pole. You don't understand. He is the horse and the rider.
I'm on the Brute Squad. You are the Brute Squad.
But shout out SpeakeaZy. Welcome back home, brother.
Great to have
Can't
you
wait
back.
to see
Appreciate it.
your Vegas debate thing, man. Looking forward to it.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
I heard good things about that one, so I'm actually looking forward to it too. Gabriel, I have a question for you. When I ask about
Hold on.
justification,
I just want to
what do
ask
you
one thing
mean?
before I go. I want to ask one thing and I gotta go. I just have to
Okay.
ask, are we all going to ignore the fact that this dude is wearing a V-neck and he's being a degenerate? Put your tits away. That's all I wanted to
Yes.
say to you. You fucking
That
degenerate.
makes
Put your
sense. Put your
goddamn
tits
tits
away.
away.
Fucking
Showing
tits.
too much cleavage.
You're showing too much cleavage, dude. When I ask about justification, I'm asking for a good reason to believe. So when you say I presuppose it, that doesn't tell me what is a good reason for you to believe that presupposition. I could presuppose that you are wrong, and just because I presuppose it doesn't mean that, well, it doesn't mean that I'm correct or incorrect, right? So what is the good reason to believe that you have that will get you to this idea of net negative?
The good idea will be the opposite of a net negative, will be net positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that idea of that net positive in reality, what would it look like? And then that will be my evidence. And then why don't we obtain
Well,
that?
for example, I would say a net negative in society would look like Afghanistan when they have, or Pakistan, okay, with the rat people of Pakistan. That would be me
Okay.
saying that is how a bad society looks like. So
I would say that's just them being unfortunate with their situation in many categories. We are of a different kind in America. We're just fortunate.
So they don't have any responsibility. It's just unfortunate for them.
Not. It's different forms of responsibility and accountability. It's their agendas.
Real quick,
as
I gotta
a-
make an appeal
Yeah.
to SpeakeaZy's chat and Emmett and Teriak and Rev and everybody who's up here. Guys, I'm 10 subs away from hitting the 200 mark. I would really appreciate if you guys come over here, hit the sub, even if you don't like me, if you disagree with me
Hell
sometimes.
no, bro.
I
hate
do
you, stillborn.
I try and make shit entertaining. All right.
Yeah,
And this,
click the sub button so you
for
can
nothing
click
else,
it to
this-
unsub right after.
this was a
that's
fucking
what's fun about
bloodbath
it.
for this guy. Okay. I
just
think even
Hey,
the
man.
Protestants
you,
agree
bro.
with me here on
Wrong
this
with
one.
you.
I
Okay.
don't think
Like,
you guys
Rev,
like dirty
I got
do you think
something
I,
for
did
the
I even
Protestants.
attack Protestants in this debate? I don't even think I had to attack Protestantism. I just granted Protestantism for him.
I got something for
You can
Protestants.
totally grant Protestantism in this debate because he's got to prove the net negative.
Oh my God, the AI
Well,
is
Emmett,
speaking. What's up,
I
Rev?
think like you need to start like with like more simple with
SpeakeaZy
Gabriel
did
because
a
I think
really
he
good
has
job
he
on my
does
voice
the
model, don't you think?
but I think he does like a basic kind of like straw man of what he thinks Christianity is. Like for example, like Gabriel, if I said to you like we can both agree that like a murderer is someone who's morally bad or morally evil or morally wrong, correct?
Immorally will be the proper word.
Yeah, they're immoral. Yeah. Like a murderer is immoral. But if that murderer converted to Christianity, does that mean all of a sudden they're a moral person?
Moving on. Yes, because they're not gonna commit murder. That's a change.
Yeah, but just because like they're now a Christian doesn't all of a sudden mean that they're moral. But Christianity, one sec, but the way you answer that question, Christianity is the potential for that murderer to redeem his sins and become a moral person. So to say that Christianity is a net negative is to say, I don't want them to even have that option anymore to become a moral person. You're a murderer, you'll always be a murderer. So it's you're kind of misunderstanding like this whole thing. If you think that this is, again, it's not your fault, it's this whole like liberal kind of like propaganda that's been driven into your head that if you're a Christian, you must be morally perfect. But there's only one person that ever has been morally perfect, and that's Jesus.
Hold on one
Agreed,
sec, Derek.
but-
Easy. The chat that you
Amen,
have
Derek.
pinned in the stream is just the link to this to the YouTube live stream, not the StreamYard link.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just figured I'd let you know that real quick.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right,
My wife
anyway,
must
I
have
have,
accidentally pinned
I
it.
noticed that earlier too.
Okay, to respond to that. All right, repeat that one more time because it's running through my
So
head.
what
I
I'm
wanna
saying
argue.
is Christianity, the theology of Christianity is the potential for someone as immoral as a murderer to become moral. But just
Yes.
because a Christian acts in immoral or like goes against Christianity, teaching of Christianity, doesn't automatically mean that Christianity itself is now an immoral ideology or an immoral ethic system, so on and so forth.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
okay. So true, pure Christianity is it has to be factually pure, meaning 100% out of 100%. Anything less than that is impure Christianity. Even though the purity is 99%, that 1% of impurity really is going to affect the totality of perfection,
Gabriel,
which is
can you do me a
yeah.
favor? Can you point to pure Christianity for me and examples of it today?
Pure Christianity examples would be in the Old Testament when the times of the Jews were obedient and were submissive, but they have a problem with being
When was
very
that? When was that?
So the
I
Old
would
Testament is an
the-
example of pure Christianity. That's your first point, but you don't point to Acts, chapter 1,
well,
2,
no,
3.
well, I'm someone who likes to focus on the
I see-
beginning,
Entire New
middle, then
Testament.
Sorry,
end.
1 second. I don't mean to interrupt you guys. I see there's more people in the back. We're at 10 people, and it only allows 10 people at a time. But
Oh.
as soon as one drops, I'll let you up. Don't worry. Just stay there. We'll get you up in a few
Or
I'll
minutes.
send
head
him
out,
money
bro.
and
I'll
drop
just
us.
listen in.
You want to go down, Jungle, you said?
Yeah. I'll just stay in the back and listen in.
All right.
Take care,
Just let
man.
me know if
Appreciate
you want
it.
to come back
Fuck
up
you
there.
guys.
See you,
No,
Jungle.
I'm just kidding. Later, guys.
See you, Jungle.
Later, bro.
Fucking
Appreciate
Afro
you.
legend, that guy.
In a minute, I just want to go down an additional line of what Teriak is on, so I'm gonna let that go, and if I can build on that point after, I'll drop after that. But I don't want to go off of this topic because I want to build on this after that's exhausted.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, just tell us when this happened, society or structure. Or
Well,
pure
I mean,
Christianity.
it would be pure Christianity is supposed to historically, evidently, it would be the times of peace. And do we have that? I mean, do any have that now? I would say no, because there's too many internal conflictions. I mean, the reason why I go back to the Old Testament is because the Old Testament is the finishing product of these certain nations, especially one that has been chosen. And certain times they did stay obedient and submissive until another generation ruined it for them. Ruined the next generation.
Gabriel,
So that's
can
my.
you reconcile the following for me? Hebrews 8:8-13. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the day cometh, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law into their minds and write it into their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, for the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to them that are, I'll be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith, a new covenant he hath made the first one. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. To explain this simply, God made a new covenant that is apart from the covenant that he made on Sinai with Moses. This is the new covenant in Christ Jesus. If the old covenant was perfect, then why did a new covenant have to take its place? And if the new one took its place and the old one vanisheth away, then how do you use that as your example of perfect Christianity?
I would answer that with, at that specific time, it was a necessity, and then that necessity changed, and therefore a new covenant can be brought
Do you know
forth.
what Paul refers to the law as, to the law of Moses? He refers to it as a schoolmaster. Okay, but when Christ came, we no longer need a schoolmaster. You see, what the covenant at Sinai was, is it was to keep the people of Israel in line until the seed of Abraham came. And that seed is Christ Jesus. So therefore, when Christ came, he declared all things clean. And he spread the gospel unto the Gentiles. And the law of Moses was not placed on the Gentiles, because if you go to Galatians 3, Paul even writes that if any man tries to justify himself by keeping the law, he has fallen from grace. Anyone who tries to justify themselves by the law, they can't be justified in Christ.
Like, in another way to put it,
So-
Gabriel, is, right?
Yes.
We have like rationality, like the laws of logic, like that's being logical. If all of a sudden, and I know those laws, and I turn around and I start acting illogical, I start like believing in contradictions. That has nothing got to do with like being logical is now all of a sudden bad or a net negative because I've strayed from the path. Like, you're trying to look for like a perfect Christianity or a perfect way of phrasing all that kind of stuff. That it's like all of a sudden now this person will never stray off it. But Christianity's not that like I'm now a perfect person. Christianity is like I know that I'm not a perfect person.
Of course you're
And
not.
I
You
pray
filthy
and I
fucking
hope
leprechaun.
Exactly, and I pray and I hope that I won't stray from that path.
Well, even before that, I would like to know, what do you mean by perfect Christianity?
Well,
What does that mean?
objectively and subjectively good, pure. So
Are you talking about religion, or are you talking about Christianity?
What does that mean?
I'm talking about reality. There's objectivism and subjectivism. There's objectivity and subjectivity. I believe there's a clear perfection that is unified between the two, depending on the positions that they are in. Like, which one is more important? Like, the Old Testament focused so much on what that mean is, so the Old Testament focused heavily because of the fall of man, and then objectively external, it's important because we need the coming of Christ to subjectively be that internal new renewal, spiritually speaking. Like, Old Testament is objective. The New Testament is subjective. The Old Testament is like the that's the way that's the way I'm reading it.
What in the
that's what it looks like.
You're reading it wrong.
Welcome to Protestantism, Rev.
The flesh and blood was.
Do you guys see why church authority is more important than you realize?
Welcome to Protestantism.
No. Let me
It's just how I read it.
Let me just say this.
Can you explain what you mean by like objective and subjective, like when you say that?
Yes.
Like that's
What do you mean? Yes, because God's intention is to turn what evil that has been done at the Garden of Eden to the good that will bring forth, which will be brought forth. So right now,
objectivity and subjectivity.
Yeah,
because we're in that environment. We're literally in that environment. That
Can you just
we know we
define
are.
the terms? Hold on, can you define the terms objectivity and subjectivity? What do those two terms mean?
Yes, please do that. Listen
Well, okay. So I'll say this: of, in, through, and by.
What? Hold on. What does he mean by that? Hold on. I might understand what he means.
Okay. So there of objectivism in subjectivity. So of objectivism is a state of belief. In faith and subjectivity.
I spoke too soon. I have no idea
sorry.
what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah,
I know. Look. I'm just saying, look, we are
All right, let him get it out,
but
though,
we're
guys.
also-
Let him get it out.
Yeah,
Remember, there's
okay.
only one of him.
To keep it simple, we are objects externally, but we're also subjects internally. Is because we have a living soul, an essence, a spirit, but we're also in a body, a vessel, and a temple. So there's a union between the two. The problem is that we're at war with each other. According to scripture,
So the body
you know,
and
my
the soul
body
are not
wants
at
to
war
do
with each
this,
other.
but my soul wants to do that.
Hold on a second. Real quick. The body and the soul are not at war with each other. That's one. Secondly, that's not what objectivity
No,
and
that's
subjectivity
scripture.
means.
No, that's scripture. That's scripture.
I'm gonna
The flesh and
explain.
blood.
Stop. I'm going to explain.
I'm charging my
Objectivity,
biologies.
philosophical objectivity just means it would exist. It's not dependent upon a mind for existence. So, for example, this container that's in my hand, this container of Zen that I'm holding, right? Would this still exist if like, this container itself still exists if every human disappeared right now?
Yes, because it's
Okay,
been created
right.
after the fact.
No, it's because it exists in it's made in material reality. It exists objectivity or objectively. However, would the current political laws of the United States still exist if every human disappeared?
Well, I mean, yes,
No,
because that's a fact.
Because they're conceptual. They're concepts. They're concepts that are enforced, but they're concepts.
Okay.
The writing would still exist, but the concepts, those would not exist. They would be. Those are subjective.
Without Thomas Jefferson, we wouldn't have it.
No, it's a hold on. Watch. I'll give you a perfect example. Hold on. What
You're missing a little bit of stillborn.
Subjective means it's dependent upon a mind for its existence. So, for example,
not necessarily.
Subjective just means mind dependent.
Do you think?
No. Subjective means it's dependent upon the subject. So I am the subject. I decide reality. That is how it depends upon me because I am the creator of all things. That is a subjective standard as to what is reality. Objective is that is outside of me.
I'm talking about
There's preferences, by the way.
Watch, hold on. Emmett's favorite color. Emmett, what's your favorite color? Watch, Emmett, what's your favorite color?
Whatever I prefer because it's mine.
I
am the subject of it. Okay, it's dependent upon me. So if I change it tomorrow to green or tomorrow to blue or white, it's still.
You guys are
His favorite color is green.
Okay, so hold on. So the statement, if Teriak says a statement, my favorite color is green. That statement is dependent upon Teriak and his mind in order for that statement to be true for Teriak. It's a subjective preference. His subjective preference is that green is his favorite color. However, if Teriak says 2 + 2 = 4, that does not depend upon Teriak's mind for that proposition to be true. It's irrelevant whether or not Teriak exists for that proposition to be true. But the proposition Teriak's favorite color is green is dependent upon him and his mind for that statement to be true.
Okay, interesting.
In subjectivity?
What?
Why do you think? I'm
just explaining the distinction between philosophical subjectivity and objectivity. So the laws of logic are objective. They exist outside of human minds, and they exist regardless to human minds.
Yes, but it doesn't. But they're still mind dependent.
Who just said they disagree?
I did.
I would also disagree with that. I think.
Yeah.
Remember, the father made this environment.
They're still mind dependent.
I didn't say God. I said the laws of logic would still exist absent human beings.
Correct,
Yeah,
but they're
why?
still mind dependent. They're objective, but they're still mind dependent. That's what I was trying to talk about. The idea of objective. Objective has to do outside of the subject, and subjectivity is dependent upon the subject.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think it was a little too like you have to know a little more about philosophy to understand that.
We had two people that said they disagreed with that, though. If they want to explain why, go ahead.
Yeah, why? So you think that the laws of logic are subjective, Demos? However the fuck, whatever you say your name is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say Demos because
Fair enough. Okay. I'm not gonna say that they're mind dependent, but I will say there's no reason to believe. There's no way to prove, at least, that they're mind independent.
They are.
The laws of logic are mind independent.
The laws of logic still exist if no human minds existed.
I don't know. How would you answer?
Do you know what the laws of logic are?
Yeah,
technically, yes.
Of non-contradiction,
identity, non-contradiction, excluded middle. Okay, so let me ask you something. Can a tree be a rock if there's no human beings?
If the thing you're defining as a tree is what we
no, not the subjective definition. You and I share a definition of tree and rock.
Would words exist without human minds?
Words themselves?
No, we're talking about the object, not the word.
I'm talking about the object.
No, but this is
I'm talking about the physical.
It doesn't matter. What you're doing is a category error.
Yeah, it's a category error. The word tree
let each other get it out, boys.
Yeah,
let each other.
That's correct. Hold on. The word tree is not identical to the physical tree in reality. So when I say tree, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the physical plant with bark that stands up. And when I say rock, you understand. I'm talking about a composition of some type of mineral. Let's go granite for the sake, or limestone for the sake of argument. Okay. If there's no human minds, is the rock of limestone? Is that a tree now? Can it just become a tree like that?
Well, according to our conceptions of what trees and rocks are, no. But do our conceptions of what trees and rocks exist?
It's irrelevant. We can call them laflipadoos and donuts. It doesn't matter what terms we use, as long as you know what I'm talking about. You're talking about the ref.
Wait, let him get it out, Steelborn. Let him get it out.
Yeah. Okay. That's like saying if the sky was green, would it be purple?
No, it's not. That's not the same thing at all.
No. The point is, right? Words describe categories of objects, right? That's what a word is that it delineates.
No, a word is just a unit of meaning.
There's levels to this.
Or it's taking something that exists in the world and giving it a category that we can use to communicate with each other. Right?
Would contradictions, real quick, one question for him, and then I'll let you take it over, Emmett. Would contradictions be true if there were no human beings? Could contradictions suddenly become true?
I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think you do
All
either.
right.
I think the
I
way
do know
you-
that because contradictions
Okay.
are logically
No.
impossible. What's the entailment?
Why is it
So-
logically impossible? Who decides whether it's logically
The
impossible?
laws of
Is it
logic
you?
are grounded in the nature of God Himself. God can't contradict His own
Okay,
nature.
so you're
Therefore,
presupposing-
contradictions can't
you're
happen if there's no
presupposing
Yeah,
humans.
but
God.
humans can.
By this.
Humans
No,
cannot.
humans
Humans
cannot.
cannot create.
If
Humans
I don't
cannot create a
believe in-
contradiction. You can't
If
create
I
a
don't believe in your
contradiction.
conception of God, there's no reason
Closest
to
you can get
get
is a
around that
paradox.
in an
Okay,
entirely-
so
That's
Demosthenes,
that's true. But
Contradiction.
I have a question for you, real quick. Okay, do you think mathematics is mind dependent?
Just to be clear, I mean, your question is for Demos?
Yeah, Demosthenes.
Okay.
Do I think
Is
it's
it-
mind independent?
No, do you think mathematics are mind dependent?
The way that we conceive of them, probably it's mind dependent. Yeah.
So 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Yeah, I would say 2 + 2 = 4.
Okay. What if you die? Is 2 + 2 = 4?
Are you guys still alive? Then probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is the
Okay.
thing,
What if
right?
every human being dies? Will 2 + 2 = 5 then?
Well, no, it definitionally wouldn't equal 5 because
Definition.
two
I'm not talking about the
coconuts plus two
definition. Wait,
coconuts
wait,
equal four
wait,
coconuts
wait,
aside.
wait,
Here's what you're asking.
wait.
Here's what you're
Wait.
asking.
I'm
Can
not
I
talking about the
explain?
definition.
Explain.
Wait. I'm not talking about the definition. I'm talking about the concept. 2 + 2 = 5 if every single human is dead. Yes or no?
No, because the way that we define mathematics works that way. That's the
Well,
way.
we're not there to define it.
Right.
So now 2 + 2 = 5, right? Because we're not there to
No,
define
no,
it.
no. That's not what that means. Okay. This is like
We are
saying,
not.
right?
Listen.
No.
I
This is like
understand your
saying-
point, but you're saying that it's dependent upon
You're
my
not- you're not
definition.
understanding.
But we are not there to define it anymore. So if
Nothing
we are not
equals
there to
anything.
define it
A rule
anymore, I can say
rule-
2 + 2 = 5, right?
You can't. Well,
No,
first
you
of all,
won't be there to say it.
You know, mine's
Hold up.
talking.
You guys got to let each other finish it so that
Thank
because like we hear each other way better than the chat hears us. If we
Yeah.
start talking,
Mhm.
the chat don't hear us.
Okay. What I was going to say is the same question you're asking is like me saying, if every human being disappeared off the face of an earth, would a bishop
Mhm.
still move diagonally? Right? Like, yeah.
I don't know.
because that's the way
Is
that
it the
we
same?
express with each other, but the rules of
If-
mathematics only work because we've defined them as such. They don't work independent of people and
Yeah.
their rule sets, right?
So you agree with me? If every single human would disappear, the rules of mathematics can be different. So 2 + 2 = 5.
yeah, possibly the rules of
Oh,
mathematics. only
perfect. So
implicitly
we can
constrain.
go into the logical ideas that 2 + 2 = 5 in your system. Thank you so much.
No, that's not what that means. You just said
That's exactly what it means. Why wouldn't it
Emmett,
mean
Emmett.
that? If I want to
No, no,
define
no.
terms
We have-
differently,
One second.
and in
we have
accordance
nine.
to you, it's just subjective upon the ideas of man,
not
then 2
subjective.
+ 2
It's-
can equal 5 or elephant or fish or
There are-
whatever I
there are
want.
different
There
levels
is
of
no
logic.
rules when it comes to the ideas of how I am supposed to act when it comes to logic, right? Because
No,
it's all
that's not-
subjective.
There are different
Change
levels
your
of
example to the law of gravity.
Sorry, what did you say?
Emma, change your example to the law of gravity, because then he can't deny it.
No,
Well,
I
the
mean,
laws
it
of-
will be
the
the
laws
same
of,
thing, right? Even if it comes to gravity
Okay,
or any
the
kind of
point of what I'm
concept,
trying- the
his
point of what
idea
I'm
of the
trying to
concept
say-
is just a definition of the thing. So he says, well, it's defined in accordance to us, but if I can change the definition to whatever I want, I can just say 2 + 2
can't,
= 5,
though,
gravity
because
doesn't
that's not
exist,
how
the
math works.
Yeah, but-
Earth is flat.
All right.
We don't have any kind of actual rules when it comes to logic or definitions or actually anything. It's all subjective and dependent upon me. So if I say 2 + 2 = 5, why am I wrong, Demosthenes?
Because within the way that we design mathematics, 2 + 2 does not equal 5.
Well, I mean that I decide that 2 + 2 = 5. Thank you.
Well, then we lock you in an insane
No,
asylum. and
Emmett,
say that-
the-
Well, I don't
Hold
care
on,
what
I
you.
need-
Wait. That's
One
you
sec.
using force. Okay? That's you using force to enforce your stupid subjective idea, which, by the way, I can tell my
Okay,
bros
yeah, you wanna
that we're going to
call-
put you in a
you
fucking
wanna
insane
call my
asylum
idea
for the
you're
same
calling,
thing.
like, all of
The
modern
moment you say
mathematics
2
is
+ 2
like-
= 4, we're going to put you in an insane asylum now.
Okay, hold
Because
on.
we
Demos.
decided that it's 5 now.
Yeah,
because
whatever.
that's the
Yeah,
rules
yeah,
that
hold
we
on,
decide.
Demos.
You're like,
Hold on,
you're
Demos,
like going on
Demos,
and on
Demos, hold on,
and
Demos.
for no reason.
Can
All right.
contradictions exist? Yes or no?
Contradictions exist? Yeah, absolutely.
What contradiction exists? Can you demonstrate a contradiction for me?
A equals not A. That's the contradiction.
Yes. Can you have that contradiction? Can this hat be not this hat? Can it be this hat and not this hat?
Within the no, it definitionally cannot because a hat. cannot
Right,
be
because it would be a
the opposite of that.
contradiction.
Yes, but okay, what you're not understanding is that things can be objective within frameworks, right? So within the rules
No,
of
no,
chat,
that wouldn't even work. If it was within a framework, then it
Okay,
would
you're not-
be
you're not making
subject and
me
it would be
just
relative to the
continue
framework.
The reason you interrupt is because you know that I'm making a point you can't contend with.
I'm gonna. I'm directly contending with.
You're literally talking to a person that just told me that 2 + 2 = 5.
What your eyes look like. All right.
He conceded in his own interview that 2 + 2 = 5.
Okay, fine. Here, now we can all see.
All right, let's let each other get it off. Let's let each other get it off, boys.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, bro.
I wear the sunglasses because it's a bright as fucking.
Matt Murdock cosplay ass motherfucker, bro. Holy shit.
There's a bright ass light in my eyes.
Bro thinks he's Daredevil. Shut up, bro.
So
because I can't get out of this fucking philosophical trap that I just walked right into and said contradictions can exist.
Yeah, the reason why I brought the law of gravity.
So can you be correct and I can be correct when I say contradictions can't exist and you say no? Can we both be correct?
The reason why I brought up the law of gravity is that that's pointing to something in reality. So when you're saying existence in terms of reality, that's when demos cannot deny that. So to go back to the original example of if we wiped out all humanity, would the law of gravity all of a sudden not be in place? Would everything just fucking start like colliding with each other?
I'll put the question to you. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Teriak.
I don't know. How do we observe the reality that we create the law of gravity around?
It's a fact of the universe.
How do we observe facts of the universe?
Through observation.
How do we observe?
Through testing, through sight.
Sight? Yeah.
He's trying to argue that he's trying to argue for empiricism. He's just trying to say empiricism.
Yes, but what we've already determined as a fact of the universe.
Right? We observe through sense perception, right?
What we've already identified or observed in terms of the universe would not cease to exist if we were to wipe out humans, correct?
I don't know the answer to that question. I can't.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Emmett. Go ahead, Emmett Steelborn. I tried. I honestly tried.
Listen.
You guys are not understanding. You're talking to a person that just agreed that 2 + 2 = 5 if we agree to it. A moment ago, he was literally telling us how if all humans evolve and we make some other definition and 2 + 2 = 5 is fine. I don't understand why we're talking to him. It's so dumb.
I have a suggestion.
Contradiction exists at the same time. You are right and I'm right and everybody's right because I say so at the same time.
I got a serious question for this guy. Real quick.
All right, hold on, boys. One at a time. I love the fire, though. One at a time. Look, let each other get it out.
We are talking to a guy that agrees with that.
Demos, stop fucking spurging at the guy. Let me ask him a question real quick.
Yeah.
Demos, can two contradicting claims be true at the same time?
No, they can't.
So then how can contradictions exist if two contradicting claims can't exist?
I never said contradictions could exist, dude. Stop fighting.
Or Demos, I got a question for you.
Actually literally said
I think yes, though.
Hey, I got a question.
This is really important. You're not lying to everybody here. You literally affirmed contradictions can't exist. They said demonstrate a contradiction that exists, and you said A and not A. You just explained what a contradiction is, but you did earlier say contradictions can exist.
I never said that. When did I fucking say that? What are you talking about?
I literally just directly quoted when you said it. You said I asked you.
Okay, why are you fighting
for me?
Why are you fighting like a straw man in your head instead of fighting?
It's not a straw man. Do you want me to pull the clip?
Showing your eyes and your hippocampus.
Do you want me to pull the clip when you said the contradictions can exist?
I said I can't answer the question of whether contradictions could exist if humans didn't exist.
No, that was not what I asked. No,
within the realm of language that we're speaking of, it is logically, linguistically, empirically impossible for a contradiction to exist and both be true at the same time. However, I don't know whether that exists without humans being here because we are the ones that engineered the laws of logic. It works.
We engineered the laws of logic. Hold on.
Just let him finish that thought off, Steelborn. Just let him finish that thought off and then.
Yeah,
go ahead. Continue where you were, Demos, because I wanted to hear the end of that too. You said humans engineered the laws of logic.
Yes. Humans engineered the laws of logic. Everything that we look at in the universe is through our sense perception. It's all engineered through our brains, through our souls, our minds, whatever you want to say, our consciousness. And so I cannot say, neither can any of you say, if consciousness, if the way we interpreted the world didn't exist, if the things we use while interpreting the world would also simultaneously exist. None of you can answer that question without tripping over yourself in endless logical tunnels. The point is, you have to ground out in some axiom or some foundational belief that is fundamentally unjustified, like the laws of logic. Like the
No.
principle of
No,
sufficient
hey,
reason.
so Demas, I have a quick question. Demas, I
axiom.
have a quick question. Let me get this out real quick.
All right,
So
go ahead, John.
I'm just trying to understand if, just trying to follow the trail here. Are you saying that without things to perceive existence, that things couldn't exist?
I'm saying I don't know whether things exist independent of our experience. I don't know. I'm not going to make a case that it doesn't exist or that it does exist. I have no way of answering that question.
Well, so here, hold on. Was there people?
Welcome to subjectivism.
Welcome to Brain in a Jar.
So just use your own existence for an example, right? Were there people before you existed?
That's where they run to as soon as we start pinning them on logic, boys.
Weren't there people before you existed, right?
Yeah, there were people that before I existed today.
Yeah.
Or at least I think there were. Yeah.
What I'm saying is before
How do you know
the
that?
perceptions, and you wouldn't know. Yeah, you'd have to be going off of the history of people who existed prior to you, right?
That's what I am going off of. Yeah.
Hold on, you guys want to know something really funny that you can do to
saying.
these people who deny the laws of logic being objective? Real quick, Damos, can you demonstrate that last Thursday happened and that the universe didn't start last Thursday?
Yeah, okay. Obviously, I can't perfectly justify that to you because if we start talking about this at some level, we'll get down to the same fucking problem, which is that nobody can ground fundamental axioms in anything other than unjustified presupposition.
Hold on a second. Do you think that the only epistemic justifications are axioms?
Okay, prove that the world didn't start last Thursday. Come on, let's go, Steele. Nobody else talk. I want to hear Steele justify this.
That sounded like a universal truth claim, boys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, how do you justify the universal truth? How do you know that's true?
How do I know that's true? Because through my worldview, I can give an accounting for why my senses are reliable.
Why?
Why? Because I'm made in the image of God as a rational being.
How do you know you're made in the image of God as a rational being?
Because I believe in the divine revelation given to the Eastern Orthodox Church.
How do you know that the divine revelation exists?
How do I know? Because I think that God can be demonstrated philosophically.
How can you think that God can be demonstrated philosophically?
Through the transcendental argument for God's existence.
Why do you know the transcendental argument is true?
Because it logically follows.
Why do you think it logically follows?
Because you can't have contradictions.
Because things existed before we were here.
Because
why can't you have contradictions? Because it's logically impossible to have a contradiction. You can't have.
Why is it logically impossible to have a contradiction? Explain it to me.
Because it would defy the nature of God.
Why would it defy the nature of God?
Because God can't define his own nature. Now, if you want to argue my worldview is ultimately circular,
you're just going in a loop. We all go in loops, dude.
Ultimately at the paradigm level, yes, every worldview is circular, but there's a difference between vicious and virtuous circularity, which you're not aware of.
Oh my God, vicious and virtuous circularity. Where'd you get that one?
At the paradigm level, you can have virtuous circularity. Can you define words without using words?
How far up your ass did you have to reach in order to pull that?
Is logic logical?
I can highlight it, Demos, right? So, like, for example,
you're
asking one sec, boys. You're asking for justification. Why ought we require justification?
Why ought you require justification?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm not saying you require justification. I'm saying none of you have it.
No, if you're subjectivist,
is that a universal term? Is that a universal idea that you're saying that nobody has justification?
I'm still trying to figure out what you're
at. Let me explain this.
I just want to know if it's universally true that nobody has justification.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. At least I haven't heard of justification.
Because you believe that to be true?
Yeah, you're gonna get me in the same circle, but I already told you.
Yeah, but the difference is how we got there. The point of what we're saying when it comes to vicious, to virtuous, it has nothing to do with me. When you're saying I believe because I believe, and that is my only justification, why would I believe you?
What?
When Stillborn was asking you, hey, we're going to go through the line of logic so that we have an idea of where we're getting our justification. How is it that we have a valid argument? And even though at the paradigm level we're getting up to the nature of God himself, the paradigm level is a higher point in which we can actually justify it through the previous arguments.
You know, there's different orders of logic.
I'm not done. Through the previous arguments, we can go to that paradigm.
Yeah,
in your case, I'm not done. In your case, the paradigm that we listen to all of the time is only dependent upon you. Do you believe that nobody has justification? Yes. Why? Because I believe it. That is the point in which the virtues and vicious infinite regression comes from.
I'll give you the most virtuous circle in my life. If I climb Mount Everest and shit at the top and say that that's my justification for all logic, I can say that that's the highest possible justification in the fucking world.
Why is it virtuous to climb Mount Everest and shit at the top?
This is all just made up bullshit.
Why is
it's
it
true.
virtuous to go to Mount Everest
Hold
and
on, how
shit
would
at
it
the
follow?
top?
Yeah, how would it follow that because you showed at the top of Mount Everest, therefore the laws of logic are true? How would that
If
follow?
I say that I received divine revelation from my shit on top of Mount Everest, and that I believe that that is the grounding for all logic and objective reality, and then you tell me that you only believe in reality because you have a pre-justified presupposition, and then I say
That was
mine is
not
virtuous
what I
and yours is
said.
vicious because
Well, we
mine
don't
is at a
believe
higher
that.
altitude
It doesn't
than
logically
yours.
follow
I
because
don't
the
like
rules
it
we
doesn't make
follow.
any sense. I'm sorry.
To prove
So
yours
when
right.
I make an argument like tag, for example, okay, is that a valid argument?
Tag is what the transcendentalist
Transcendental
argument?
argument for God. Are transcendental arguments valid arguments in logic?
I don't think they are at all. I think they're
Okay, tell me what is make any transcendental argument.
I can give you an example one that's not tag if you want.
Wait, no, Stillborn. I want him to make
you're saying you want me to
any
make that argument, or
transcendental.
you want, I'm not. I don't
No,
believe in that.
you
argument.
make any transcendental argument. What it doesn't have to be a transcendental argument for God. Just show an
Like, how do
example
I
of
ground
any
something
transcendental
on logic, or
argument.
what?
No, that's
For
not what a
cake.
transcendental.
Make
No, a
it-
transcendental
make a
argument
transcendental argument for
is a
cake.
form of an argument. It's
Yeah,
X
make a
is the necessary
performative
precondition
argument.
for Y. So I'll give you an example. In order to have
Stillborn,
steak,
let
cows have
him
to
do it. Let him. I want him to do it. I
He
want
doesn't even
him to
understand. He
tell
doesn't
me.
know what a transcendental argument
I
is.
know,
I
perfect.
do
That's what I
understand
want
it.
him to perform. I want him to perform the fact that he doesn't know. Please do a transcendental argument. Any.
Yeah. So, okay, you want me to do a transit? Okay, I don't really know what
Yes.
that means. But, you saying that there are certain transcendental, objective, universal truths that exist, things that like the laws of logic, things like the principle of sufficient reason, things like the objectivity or the reliability of our sense perception that have to exist in order for the reality of the world to make sense. I ground these things in a justified, unjustified presupposition that exists at the bottom of my metaphysical and objective worldview, which states that the laws of logic exist, the principle of sufficient reason exists, and I trust the reliability of my sense perception, and I don't question it, because if I question those things, nothing in reality makes sense. That's
You
Okay,
just,
so
Kelly, you just
what-
contradict
wait-
yourself saying you have a justified,
Wait.
unjustified position.
Okay, so P1
yeah,
is exactly
decoding that one.
the Muslim
Buster
is which.
Brown,
What is
alright.
P1?
Okay.
P1 is Demos understands the existence because he interprets from his interpretation.
I want
And-
him
mean,
to
what
be
is
able to
P1?
do the argument,
want me to
guys, because I
construct
want to
Sorry,
know
Emmett.
if he understands
Okay.
it. Is it what is P1 again?
I didn't construct a syllogism. I made an argument. Do you want me to do you need me to walk you through
What
the
is an
fucking logic of it
argument?
in order for you to understand? Okay. Okay. P1, transcendental truths exist. P2.
Transcendental success.
Okay. P2. Physical reality exists. Or I believe physical reality to exist. P3. Physical reality cannot exist. Or fuck, I guess. Okay, wait. P1 would be physical reality requires transcendental truths. P2 would be physical reality exists, and then the conclusion would be transcendental truths exist. Okay? That's a transcendental argument.
So you said that it requires. Are you telling me that the universe would not be able to exist without transcendentals?
In the way that I conceive it, yeah.
In the way that you conceive it? So if I conceive it differently, it will be perfectly justified that it exists without transcendentals?
Definitionally cannot conceive a universe different from the one I conceive.
Okay. And
Is that not
how
true?
exactly do we meet the requirement of X therefore Y in your transcendental argument?
It's if X, then Y. If physical reality, then transcendental truths. X, Y. That's modus ponens.
So thank you very much for
alright,
letting me know that you don't understand
Alright,
transcendental
next one,
arguments, so
next
you
one,
cannot say if they're valid or invalid. In your own idea, you don't know. Why are you making knowledge claims of things you don't understand?
I never made a knowledge claim.
No,
Yes, you did. You said that it's not valid. That is a knowledge claim, you dork. If you don't understand what the fuck an argument is, and then you try to perform it and fail at it, and then when I'm telling you X, therefore Y, and then you give me a simple YX argument, you're literally not understanding the basic ideas. So you make
just
knowledge
asked me to-
claims that you know
asked me to
nothing
give
about, dork.
syllogism.
Dork.
Shout out to you for the $40 Cash App. Thank you very much. I can't thank you enough. And remember, chat, this channel isn't monetized yet, so if you want to support the show tonight on the Chaos and Chill panel side, hit the Cash App or the PayPal, or you can head over to the Rumble and hit a Rumble rant as well.
If I were to ask you, Demos, let's say that you come to me and you ask me, hey, can you help me with my math problem? And I say, I'm a great mathematician, amazing at it, okay? And in the middle of me resolving or helping you with your equation, I ended up putting in written form 2 + 2 = 5. Wouldn't you call me a stupid dork? Hey, stupid dork, how are you trying to help me when you don't even know basic arithmetic? It's exactly the same thing you did. You don't understand basic fucking forms of logic, and you come here trying to pretend that you understand it. Okay, that is the same thing. It's me trying to help you how to play chess, and I say, oh, the pawns, they move 20 squares to the front, and then you kill the king immediately. It's fucking stupid. I don't understand why people do this.
I understand that objective truths.
So I quite literally don't understand why people do this.
It doesn't make any sense. If I asked an alien who didn't know what chess was how to move a bishop on a chessboard, they're not going to have an answer for that fucking situation.
No, if the alien, this is what you do, Demosthenes. Let me explain you what you do. You go to the alien, you ask him, hey alien, how do I play chess? And the alien gives you a fucked up answer, and then you're like, oh, that's a great answer, because that's what you did. You don't know what fucking logic is, and then you come in, bullshit your way in, and then you're pretending, oh, we have to understand you now. It's valid because I believe it. Okay, that's the justification that you made. And you don't even know the transcendental or how fucking transcendentals work. It's fucking annoying to see people like you. Fucking idiots.
I'm speaking some idioties right
dork.
Now. Whatever. No, the point is...
The point is you don't know what transcendental is. You didn't know how to make it. You didn't know how to do it. That's the point.
Hold up. Let him respond.
Yeah, dude. I just trip over his words. I've got a no talking pill for Emmett right now. Jeez. The point is, what you're saying is that if I were to go up to someone who had no idea what the rule set of chess was and explain to them or ask them the question, how does a bishop move on the chessboard? They wouldn't have an answer for me. In the same way, if I were to ask a hypothetical entity or a hypothetical objective observer whether math exists outside of the rule set that we have constructed as human beings, they would not have an answer for me. They would not know what 2 is. They wouldn't know what 5 is. They wouldn't know what 4 is. The way that you teach math, or the way that math is explained, is within the rule set of mathematics that we as human beings have constructed. Does it align with the reality that we see or we conceive of? Absolutely it does. That's the reason that it allows us to do science. It allows us to predict things in the world. But to act like this is somehow a mind-independent framework that doesn't just exist because our brains and our minds thought of it in the first place is unbelievably idiotic, and it is an assertion that belies all common sense and all logic, and has no understanding.
This is the problem that I have for you. The problem that I have is I ask you about a specific kind of argument, you don't know anything about it, and then you pretended to know. As if you know how to play chess and you don't know how to play chess. Okay, that's exactly what you did. You can pretend that you know these things now. Okay, but let me explain to you how a basic. Let me explain you how a basic transcendental argument is. Okay, we have water. Water is constructed from oxygen and hydrogen. Therefore, oxygen and hydrogen are real. That is how a basic transcendental argument works. If you don't know it, you don't understand it because it's fucking retarded. It's not my problem. It's the fact that you don't know how these arguments work and how they actually constructed. That is your problem. And you don't know them. And you pretended that you do. You literally pretended. I know how they work. Let me explain it to you.
If I start speaking to you in Japanese, are you just supposed to fucking talk to me in Japanese, dog? We're talking about
if I'm gonna talk to anybody and they're speaking Japanese, I better fucking know some fucking Japanese to be able to talk to them. If I go to an employer and I tell them I know Japanese, and then somebody starts speaking Japanese to me and I act like a retard, okay, they will be calling me retarded because I would be a retard for saying I know Japanese when I don't. Okay, yeah, you said that you know transcendental arguments when you don't. Retarded. That is what you are. Okay, fucking slow. Oh yes, I know transcendental arguments. I'm gonna tell you how they work, and fucking don't know them at all. The stupidest shit I ever seen in my life, and then pretending to still have some kind of point. Yeah, I'm
talk
bullied.
to me in Hebrew. Like, what are we talking about?
No, I don't know how to speak Hebrew. You see how?
do
you see
real
how
quick,
easy it is for somebody to say I don't know how to do something? Just like you could have said, no, I don't understand transcendental.
Real quick,
idiot.
1 second, boys, 1 second. Just because I know, I can feel you both. Yeah, I can feel you both have a lot of fire left in you, and I don't want Jeremy's point to go lost because Jeremy said he had something for Gabriel, and while we still have Gabriel and Jeremy here, I figured I'd let Jeremy go ahead and ask that of Gabriel. So that we don't miss that, and then we can get right back into that there too. And I think you two would be a good Swords of Reason battle to set up in the future too. Just saying.
For sure.
But go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead and ask Gabriel what you wanted to ask him about, so that we don't lose that.
Yeah. So what I wanted to get at is so Teriak brought up a point about the murder joining or whatever, joining Christianity, leaving that behind and whatnot, right? And you're like, well, he wouldn't do that anymore. Well, my statement goes more at, well, what if he is still that? What if he does go and he proclaims to be a Christian and whatnot, and continues to do those actions? Based on what you would be saying, would you attribute that to Christianity? In which case, the actions of this person proclaiming to be a Christian are now attributed to Christianity? Because I feel like that's what you're doing. What you argued in the debate is that basically Christianity is responsible, or is a net negative, because they didn't push the needle far enough forward.
So the key word is potential, that the murderer will change his ways after being persuaded with the truth of the current situation of this individual is in. So his problem is that he's a murderer. He murdered someone unrighteously, unjustifiably. The realization of being persuaded with the truth that now he is aware that whether he believes that he's righteously justified in killing someone, because if that's the situation and it's proven that he's wrong, he committed an injustice. And then now whether he is aware of that injustice, that he recognizes he's in the wrong, and therefore repentance, apologies, of turning of sin away, offending God, literally murdering his neighbor in this New Testament, commandment, thou shalt, love thy neighbor, but you just murder your neighbor.
But then
that's just one. Who was my neighbor?
And that would be a good.
Who was my brother?
So that would go against your claim of being a negative.
Who was my mother and who was my father?
Well, that again, it depending on the situational circumstances, because in another situation, he heard the truth and he still chose to go backwards, in which and with malicious intent now, because now he's.
But how do you connect that to Christianity as opposed to this person who's doing the thing that goes against everything that the group that he is proclaiming to be a member of advocates against? How is that upon that group, and they're responsible for the negative effects that this person or this group of people are doing, claiming to be members of this group?
Yeah, because just real quick, sorry, one sec, because when you say when he chooses to go backwards, what is he going backwards from? He'd be going backwards from Christianity.
Correct. He going back to his old ways rather than changing in his new ways. And
but how does that make Christianity responsible for him not being part of what the group is advocating for?
Because they weren't there before he committed the first murder, his first murder, or the
So they're
transgression.
responsible for everything before. They're responsible for every negative action that person did before they found him, or before he found them.
Depending on
don't
the
you know, Jeremy?
environment.
They send guys like me up
Depending
into
on the
people's
environment,
houses
because
to
it could
stop
have
them
been
from sinning.
prevented, but it was
If
not
you killed
prevented.
a bunch of people, and then you found me and I said,
No,
hey,
killing
you
is
shouldn't
righteously
do this.
justified. You got to say murder. Murder is unrighteously unjustified.
I don't. You did a bunch of bad stuff. You did a whole lot of bad things. You stole,
Evil things.
You murdered, you did all these things.
Yeah, you broke all the
And
10
then
commandments.
You found me. Then you came to me, and I said, hey, you shouldn't do all these things. They're negative. They're bad. Is that
No,
on
it's
me
worse
that
than
I
that.
didn't come to you before you did all those bad things? That's what you just said Christianity is responsible for.
First of all, Christianity, it teaches, basically, we know the basics internally offhand, but it doesn't mean we know the levels of wisdom that is wise and unwise of our decision, because it has consequences, repercussions, ramifications, and ultimately inheritance, in which we pass that not only to ourselves but to others. So
how do you
how does the church, how does Christianity, sorry, Jeremy, you go ahead.
How do you attribute blame to the group before the group was ever exposed to the person, or the person was ever exposed to the group? How is that link made?
I would say through studies, testing, verifying, confirming the responsibilities and the accountability of the group itself, but also to the individual and the environment that we're in as a nation, because it all plays into a factor. We're supposed to be neighbors, but am I really going to not step up and actually, prevent this, bringing awareness to it? If someone who's not aware.
So Christianity is responsible for all things known
negative
and unknown to them. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you were about to say
because
it right there.
Technically, they're ahead of the game. Let's just be honest. All the other religions, say they're false. Christianity should be ahead of the game.
Answer my question directly. What you're saying is Christianity is responsible for all things known and unknown to them.
Bro, Jeremy, you're not fighting a real person. This is not a real person you're talking to.
So I would say before Christianity was Judaism. So
Judaism.
Well, Old Testament way of belief. And then it basically turned into a New Testament way of belief. So two different environments.
We are on. The view of the Christian is that we are the continuation of the religion of the Old Testament.
Correct. Exactly. But it is different, because here's the thing. Paul in Ephesians points to the war between flesh and blood in the Old Testament, but now it's more about principles internally, which is now in the New Testament. So because of the principles in it internally has been basically defiled and corrupted because of false Christianity, impure Christianity, the false teachings, it has really caused more problems and problematic, which is caused from errors that is producing outcomes of evil results.
Real quick. Let me do. So Gabriel, are you saying that it's Christianity's fault that there's murder in America or in the world?
No. Not. It's the failures of the people within Christianity are to blame, because they're not being correctly reproved or strongly rebuked.
That's great.
Yes, but that's not the fault of Christianity.
So we should have no reform.
No, not the fault of pure Christianity. Agreed. It's just we ourselves are the problems at times, because we are literally strayed from it.
I can grant you.
Lean not in your own understanding.
I can grant
whose
you
understanding we're supposed to be leaning to then?
I can grant you that people who claim to be Christians are
wolves in sheep's clothing.
Are responsible for net negativity. I can grant you that, but that doesn't say Christianity, the group of Christians, is responsible for that. They don't advocate for this.
Yeah.
Which
Tell me how
group?
this follows.
Because denominations are a set of groups.
I'm curious. Tell me how this follows. Bad man joins church for whatever reason, right? He did bad shit. Church wants to reform bad man. Bad man decides to not stop doing bad shit. The church, so the church has let them down, let the bad man down, or has the bad man not changed his way?
No. The church.
And why does the church eat the blame for the bad man because he joined the club?
No. The church has a certain level of responsibility and accountability. They did their job. They did their end of the bargain. Now it's up to the man himself to obtain it, but then also maintain it. If he cannot obtain it, then whose fault is it? Is it
So
the
the
teachings that
man
the
is
church is
responsible for his own actions.
He will set up for failure. You want to set people up for failure? I can't do that. I don't want to set
He was
people up for
given
failure.
the tools for success, or the tools to change his
Tools
ways.
for
his
success.
wicked
How about
ways.
tools for failure? You know, there's an opposite end to that.
Really?
What happens when
tools
leaders
for
are proven
failure?
to be false?
Don't
What
kill
happens
people
followers
when
that
you,
fail to
or
correct?
don't end people when you've ended people. Don't stop doing that, and then he keeps doing it.
First
How
of
is
all,
that?
there's a whole
How is
there's a
that
whole list.
Christianity's tool for
I think you're a
failure?
fucking dork. Shut up. Be quiet.
Okay, so there's murder, there's killing, there's lying, there's thieving, there's different many forms of ways. Okay, but
Oh yeah.
the problem is when they stack on each other.
So what are we supposed to
Does
do?
Christianity
Gabriel?
promote those?
I'm a
Emmett looks
preacher
like
here.
Dracula.
I'm a clergy.
How much blood did you have this
So what
morning?
am I supposed to do to my congregation when one man steps outside the bounds of his marriage in his own home? I'm not there to correct him, but if I do try to correct him and I can expel him from my church, have I done everything that I can?
What doesn't
I've
matter?
tried to correct the man.
Yeah, according to Paul,
He wouldn't
according to
accept
Paul,
my
according to
correction, and I
Scripture.
kicked him out.
Yeah, according to Paul, and guess what? He
So
can
how's
come back
Christianity
and
to blame?
apologize
Because
that he
that's
was
how
wrong.
every
There's
labor
an
and Protestant
exact
church acts.
situation in
That's how
Scripture.
Catholicism acts.
No, that's
how
what it
Eastern
was, Rev.
Orthodoxy acts.
Rev,
If
it's your
somebody
fault.
gets out of line in our congregation, we correct them. If they do not receive the correction, we excommunicate them.
No,
How do you-
Russ,
Exactly,
How's it our
but
fault?
here's the thing.
You failed.
No,
before
you
even
did your
joined
part.
church. It doesn't matter. After
Yeah, but then why are you still blaming Christianity?
One sec. Whose
Why am
fault
I
is it
blaming
then?
Christianity?
One sec, Gabriel.
Okay.
Whose fault is it?
Oh, he said it, but he won't say it again. It's the man's fault.
No, here's my thing.
Okay,
The
that was a
church's
stupid
responsibility is to bring awareness to the truth, and that's their job. If they failed in doing that, if they misled that, if they alter it that, and they remove the real authentic substance, as opposed to have the power to persuade, and we're supposed to pray for them too, that's according to Scripture. Like, there's a level of changing of the heart that has to take place. If not, it's not going to be effective. The whole point is to be 100% effective. Right now, we're not.
Let me give you this example. Let me give you this example, right? Rev goes to me. He shows me the truth. He shows me the way of Christianity, right?
Okay.
And I don't follow that. I choose to walk away from that. Is that Rev's fault that he didn't persuade me, or is that my fault because I chose to go against it?
You chose against it. Again, there's an example of this in Scripture when the man went to Christ saying, basically, he wanted to be a follower. He had to give up all his possessions.
But whose fault is it, Gabriel? Whose fault is it? Is it the fault of Christianity or is it the fault of me, the individual?
No, you, because you were told, you were brought,
Then
you were given the answer.
Then you don't agree with your own prompt.
What do you? What? No.
He was saying he didn't give him the right answer.
Blaming Christianity.
He's saying it didn't work because it was the wrong Christianity, apparently.
No, exactly. Depending on situational circumstance, if a representation of the church claims to be the church, but it's not, whose fault is it then?
Can I ask Gabriel
They were set up.
Okay, so one sec. Let me be very fucking specific in this. One sec, Theosthenes, and I'll let you go. Right?
Okay.
Rev Ross comes up to me and he says, Teriak, you should not murder, right? And I say, fuck you, Rev, and I unalive Emmett, right? Is that the fault of Christianity or is that the fault of me?
You!
Yeah.
Because of the fault, because Rev didn't do good enough. He's telling you not to do that.
Johnny, shut the fuck up. No, we can get him on this.
Okay, so how about this? Let me just put this out there. So
he must not have really meant it.
Was not taught. So this is, let's just say American society.
He's on prompts like 20 times, dude. It's like, how many more dunks do we need?
Yeah.
No. This American
I want to know
society.
why Teriak wants to kill that dork killer.
Wait, can I ask a question real quick? Just one quick question.
Go ahead.
All right. When you were at preschool today, did they serve you animal crackers or celery sticks? All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Damn.
That's it. That's a good one.
It was actually Cheez-Its? It was actually Cheez-Its?
No, he's blaming the school for making kids fat. Fuck that. I want my animal crackers. Fuck that celery stick.
When you both go to, a steel preschool, you hold hands before getting inside the classroom. You're muted, Easy.
Oh, I'm muted. Okay. Of course, it wouldn't be an easy show without me muting on this one. Damos took off, but I know Avarice wanted to talk to him.
Rage quit.
Damn it.
Yeah.
You missed the
Like the
well.
greased
There's
up
still the other
Family Guy. He got away.
guy from the preschool
What
here.
are you talking about? I know Pawn. I'm gonna. What are you guys? You guys are all wrong. You're just not thinking on his level, right? You have to get to the grand scale of what Pawn is thinking, right? Intergalactic measures, right? If we're looking at this from an MIB perspective, right? We're only in a locker into the size and the magnitude of his theory, right?
Yes. And Demos is Tommy
All right, hold
Lee
on.
Jones.
You all,
I just want to say one
he's
thing. Real
been
quick. This is like
the whole
important.
time. I've had conversations with Pawn. You're the ones that are wrong. Pawn wins. You just can't
50%.
greatness of Pawn's discussion because you guys were thinking so small like humans when obviously he thinks it's such a higher level of alien sophistication. Obviously. You should have known this. You should have known that.
Eve is a victim too, by the way.
I gotta edit that
Oh,
video.
real quick, we got Demos back in the. He came back. He's in the back. Does anyone want to make room for Demos?
I'm about to get off here.
Oh,
for
a
sec,
rematch.
so I just
Oh,
want
are
to
you Stillborn?
I'll go off. You have to be here, Stillborn. You have
I appreciate the debate.
You gotta
and I got
suffer
work
through your
tomorrow.
debate.
Wait, I
Keep
think
having me on
Stillborn's
easy.
getting off because of work, though. I think.
Yeah,
that's
I
why he's-
got work in the morning.
Oh,
Appreciate the debate, Stillborn. Wherever you win.
Yeah. So real quick, so Gabe. I
Okay,
don't-
tell everybody where to find you,
Hold on a
quick,
sec,
then.
hold on a sec.
You
Minimize
can find
it.
me
I'm trying
at
to talk
the
to Gabe.
Children's Hospital for Down syndrome.
Okay, wait. Let him get off. What is
Just
this?
real quick, Gabe. I don't, no bad blood. It was a lot of fun, debating with you, man. And I'm letting you know if Easy's cool with it. Easy, you can send in my Discord. You're always welcome whenever I host a panel or whatever. You're always welcome to come up. No bad blood. It was a lot of fun. I appreciated the good spirited debate. And with that, I will sign off. You guys all know where you can find me. You can find me at Steelborn.
Stillborn, you know the rule. You quit, you lose. You're giving
You guys can find me at Steelborn on YouTube.
All right, hold
on
up. Let
X.
him. Go
You
ahead,
guys find me
sir.
at Steelborn on YouTube and on X. I do now do a regular show every Tuesday and Thursday called The Scrap Pile, which is a
That's a
news show.
shitty name.
Yeah, shut up, Avarice. The Avarice Show. Like, how fucking original is that? Anyways.
It is original.
Go ahead.
Because nobody named Avarice.
Ava
You just
White
called it
Show.
the Steelborn Show, and it would have been the same thing. So anyways, yeah, it's my own show. A new show called
that
The
one
Scrap
would
Pile.
suck.
Redig to the fucking scraps and get rid of all the fucking bad
Not
takes.
the right
And we
side,
throw
left
that shit in the scrap pile. So if you
Let's
want to get the
go.
best news feed, you come over to the Scrap Pile, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, every Tuesday and Thursday. Or no, every Tuesday. Every Thursday, I'll be hosting normally open panels, but had a debate tonight. And then you can always find me on Verbal Kombat Friday.
Let's
What
fucking
about the
go.
Riverside Rants?
What about what?
The Riverside
yeah.
Rants?
And the occasional
know if
Riverside
you're gonna
Rant,
go
which we will
see
be
me.
having some special guests for the next Riverside Rant.
Nice. That's what's
It will
up.
be fun.
That one would be great. You guys have a great night. And again,
You as well.
Gabe, thank you for the good spirited back and forth. That was a lot of fun.
Can you just get the
Likewise,
fuck out of here
appreciate it.
now?
Everest, can you shut up? It's not all about you,
I just wonder
Can you
how
just
long
get
you're going to
the fuck
monologue
out?
for. Just get the fuck out.
I mean, it would be nice to get a
The
chance to
vagina
monologue
monologue.
during this.
all
but,
right, all right, Syndrome. Get out of here.
It's a victory lap.
Look, I'm just saying, I'd rather be retarded than gay like you. So,
Fucking there we go. Monologuing. Getting caught monologuing.
God bless. All right, welcome back, Demos.
Yo.
Hi.
I got the shout out. Had to come back to deal with this balding loser. So
I got some.
Yeah, right.
It's balding. I mean,
Yeah, you got a little Norwood 7 over there, buddy. All right.
I've had that since I was 20. Sweet.
Shit, that's really bad, dude. You should get on that fucking finasteride as soon as possible, my dog.
Maybe. I mean, if you want to, if you just
He's
want to keep
40.
going for ad homs instead of attacking your actual argument, then sure.
Well,
if you want to start
your
that way.
pod, so I feel like you started, buddy. So.
Just call him a dork,
They
Avarice.
called you a what?
Oh, a dork? Oh shit.
Yeah, you're a
Wait,
dork.
what did,
That was a
wait, what did,
different
wait, hold on, 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 hold on. You made a claim. What did I call you?
I don't know what you call me. I
Yeah,
saw
so
it
you
in
did,
the
yeah,
screen.
yeah. So you just made a claim that was false. You said I called you. I called you nothing.
That was false, actually. I'm
Hey,
actually.
Yeah,
it's,
well,
hey, it's
I
true
see,
in
here we go.
Demos' world because he observed
Now we know
it,
what.
and
Now
he
what we
used his
know what
power
we're
of
dealing with.
perception
Like,
and senses.
do I have to just start calling you like a guy that likes to play with his poo? Because that looks like where you come from.
Well, you clearly like to play with your fucking dick.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you're a poo flinger. Got it.
Wait. Playing for Dixie, eh?
All right, let's. I know you said you had an argument for him.
Yeah. I just had a question because you said based on you said it was how would you put that?
Yeah,
you made a claim about judgment. Was it judgment that you said, or
nope.
What are we talking go off for your claim on the justification. Yeah, justification. What is justified? Like what how do you define justified?
How do I define justified?
Yeah.
Like has a basis in some reasoning.
Basis in some reasoning. And how do you come to your reasoning for that?
Well, reasoning usually happens like based on some rudimentary, laws of logic.
So if I can logically say, if I can logically show why I should have slaves and ought to have them, then reasonably I can have slaves, and justifiably so.
I mean, if you made a logical argument,
under your paradigm.
Okay, if I logically explained to you how I fucked your mom, does that mean I fucked your mom last night?
Absolutely, but I'd get checked.
What?
If I were you, I'd get checked.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Has, STDs, that's a great
probably.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. If you knew where dude, I came from a cult.
That's why you must have been born that way. It must be some genetic.
Again, I came from a cult. We all know that my mom has something. But if you want to bring my mom into it, I'd go get checked.
That's why you think I'm fucking crap, because your mom.
Next thing under your paradigm,
what the fuck are you talking about?
If I can justify, so in your paradigm, in your paradigm, you can justify having sex with tots.
Sex with what?
Like tater tots?
What's a tot?
Probably kiddos.
What are you thinking about this a lot?
I'm just saying in your paradigm. In your paradigm. So I'm talking about in your paradigm, right? In your paradigm. In your paradigm, right? I'm just trying to understand in your morality, right? The one that you can't seem to fucking ground, you can justify sex with tots.
No, because I don't think you can make an argument to justify sex with tots or whatever.
Why not? Why not? If they consent, then they can. In your paradigm,
I don't think they can. Why the fuck are we talking about this, bro? Someone check his hard drives, please. Holy shit!
But if you want to think they can.
Someone check this guy's hard drives.
Again, under your paradigm, you'd be allowed to have
avarice over here with the Norwood 17. All right.
If you perceive it that that's okay, since that's the basis of your justifications, is it not okay to do that, or is it okay?
This is you deflecting because you're the one that wants to have sex with tots. Then under your paradigm,
I'm the one, even though you've brought it up 15 times. All right, dude.
Because your paradigm allows it to have, so mine doesn't.
Right now,
my paradigm doesn't allow me to have sex with tots. Yours does.
No, it doesn't. Why does my?
Yes, it does, because your justification would allow it so if it's logically possible.
I never
because you okay. Then what makes it immoral under your justification?
We're talking about two different things right now.
Under your justification, what does it make it? Okay, but then what makes it? What makes it not just? What makes it not justified?
Unjustified.
Why are we moving into an
unjustified?
Right
well, I'm just saying. What makes it unjustified?
Because they can't consent. What?
I just said they could. Where can't they?
You said
again in your paradigm. Where can't they?
Because they're not able to consent. They have like.
Let me clarify real quick, Irish. Let me clarify. Let me clarify. Under your paradigm right now, right, the whole lefty paradigm, Demosthenes, right? They're saying that kids should be able to consent to these medical procedures to take these chemicals on this kind of shit because they're trans. So, like, Avarice has an example
right now.
Because you're saying children can't consent. But with your justification, this is how we've gotten to the whole trans thing, where then now the argument is these kids can consent to inject themselves with hormones and all this kind of shit.
Oh, so are you saying that?
One sec. Let me clarify.
You can have sex with tots.
So what Avarice is saying? Let me clarify. What Avarice is saying is you do not have anything to prevent this argument being made that kids can consent, whereas in Christianity with Avarice, there actually is an argument that children can't consent.
Well, wait, now you're jumping ahead. No, first, wait.
Yeah, you gotta have Demos where he grabs his bases.
What Avarice is trying to say, because he wasn't good at explaining what he's saying here.
Yeah, I know.
He asked you at first where does wait. He asked you at first, like where does justification or like what is justification? right? And you said that which is within reasoning, if I'm not mistaken. I may be paraphrasing, but something with that which within reasoning. So, like, what Avarice is trying to say is, if there is some type of reasoning someone can come up with to sleeping with children, then under your paradigm, that would be justified.
Well, okay. If you're asking a purely hypothetical question, then it works. But I would never say. I don't think you can logically justify that position.
Yeah, well, this is the answer. Wait, Avarice. So just so you understand the answer, he's saying if there was a reason, he's saying if there was a reasoning that then it could be justified. What he's saying is he rejects that there is a reasoning behind having sleeping with children.
Yeah.
So what's the basis of your rejection?
This is not a good argument. Like, why are you bringing up normative ethical traps?
I'm not not because again, in your because now you're just gonna filibuster because I caught you because I could technically take it to that it is reasonable.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I said I could take it to where it's reasonable.
Avarice.
This is why.
Period. Avarice. This is why I stepped in. This is why I stepped in at first, right? Because you saying they can consent, he's rejecting that as a reasoning because he says they can't. You can't say under his paradigm if they can't consent.
What's consent under his paradigm? What's consent in his paradigm then?
He said they're not developed enough to give consent.
Okay, so then when is that? When can anybody give consent then in your paradigm?
Like the age of consent, like around 18 years old, probably.
18. So 16-year-olds can't have sex.
Okay, this is a very complicated question.
No, I'm asking. I'm just trying to
keep laughing, dude, as if this isn't. All right. Do you go around? Okay, whatever.
No, I'm trying to ask what consent is to you.
Consent varies.
Well, I think consent is probably around 16 to 18, around that age range.
Oh, now it's changed.
Frontal lobe capacity to be able to sufficiently consent to a sexual interaction with another person. Yeah.
Okay, so can a 13-year-old consent to walk home on his own?
They're two different things.
Actually, they're not. They're not. They're consent. They're just consent. I'm asking what consent is here.
Okay, so do you think a toddler? Do you think a toddler should be able to consent to putting a spoon of baby food in its mouth?
Absolutely not.
No?
Nope.
Okay, so a toddler cannot consent to taking a spoon and putting it in his mouth.
No, not without me knowing what was in the spoon and what was on it, what kind of food there was. I'd have conditions before it could move. Absolutely. In my child's mouth, absolutely. Everything that goes in my child's mouth, I pay attention to.
Everything that goes in your child's mouth. Wow. So we were definitely talking about your child's mouth, and I wasn't asking
patriarchy. Well, I mean,
I don't think that's a thing.
Avarice, the key question here is how do we measure consent?
Yeah, I'm just trying to say, how do we measure this?
Yeah. Have fucking Tarek talk for you, dude. You fucking retard. Okay. What was the question? How do you measure?
Keep throwing ad hocs, fucking poo flinger.
The idea is that there's a certain level of brain function or executive function that exists within a 16-year-old that doesn't exist within a younger person that is able to understand the gravity and the consequences associated with this.
Okay, real quick demos. If a 9-year-old showed that they did have that capacity to consent the same way the 16-year-old, should a 9-year-old be able to consent to sex?
If a 9-year-old had that capacity,
replacing this on mental capacity, I know a 9-year-old.
So now it's possible to have sex with thoughts.
I'm going on a break, ladies and gentlemen.
I bet you're really happy, Avarice. I bet this makes you really happy.
That's so fucking stupid.
What the fuck?
You're so stupid.
Yeah, and you're a fucking.
Hey, SpeakeaZy, I got to go.
All right. Jesus Christ, what an idiot.
Oh, Gabriel, you got to head out now?
Yeah, I'm gonna head out.
All right, tell everybody where they can find you.
Twitter X account, Gabriel Dipon, Gabriel Garcia. That's really it at the moment. Until growth of a podcast and eventually see what else opportunities come forth. Again, I appreciate SpeakeaZy, the opportunity to debate, especially, 18% victory on my end. But I appreciate the opportunity. I take the loss like a champ, and I'm going to learn and grow and just see how that goes.
Yeah, man. Definitely,
Yeah.
we'll have you back on again. No time.
Have a good one,
Okay, well,
Pawn.
would you like
You
to
better come
debate
back.
what is Christianity?
Hmm?
Ooh,
Would you like to
please
debate
debate
what
that.
Christianity is?
Alright,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not-
know what? Why not? Because at the end of the day, sword got to go against sword. I mean, look, if my sword is so dull,
Under this guy's
sharper than
paradigm, I can have sex with my sister.
All right, I'll
Sharper
definitely I'll hit you up. Wait, Avarice. I'll hit you up, Gabriel, and we'll get that set up for you and Emma.
Thank you.
Now, also, I'll say this.
Sound like a fucking kid talking about fucking his sister.
Hold up, wait a second. Let Gabriel
Gabriel's giving an outro.
So I'm also going to be appearing on a few other debates, especially on Outnumbered, now by like Sean Kelly. So I'm going to be heading out to Las Vegas twice. And also Word War Debate 2. Definitely give them a shout out. Opportunity to meet up in Tennessee. And who knows what else comes. But yeah, I appreciate everybody.
All right.
And Bloodsteel. Wait,
Stillborn.
Stillborn. Yeah.
Bloodsteel is cool.
Hey, enjoy.
I appreciate everybody here too, by the way, for the discussion.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
See you, Everest.
For the conversation.
Hey, so what's to stop people under your paradigm from having sex with goats? You fucking Muslim.
Just goats can't consent to
Oh,
sex.
man.
Yeah. Really
What?
good fucking question, dude.
I'm
What's
just wondering. You're just showing tall tale signs of being Islam.
Okay. The Muslims,
Oh,
you
dude,
are completely.
What's
I
the
have a
answer?
question for
Consent
you,
doesn't
real quick.
exist in Islam, dude.
Because she had STDs. What's the?
I have a real question for you. So, in order for you to be able to have any kind of sexual intercourse, you need to consent, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to
Morally
consent. Okay,
speaking.
perfect. So all of the toys, every single one of them is immoral. Thank you.
Oh my god. Oh, that you. If that's race bait, you are a great race bait.
I agree with you, Demosthenes. Not toys for anybody.
Yeah, man, your moral views are fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah,
you
well
have so many
done.
pillars. Oh, you have none. Well, you have none. You have no morals. No morals in your foundation.
Yeah, I forget that the toy has a personality. Yeah, maybe.
No,
you
he
need a
cannot
personality
consent.
to consent.
He doesn't have a personality. He cannot consent. That's the point.
It needs to have a personality to consent. This is new. This is a new thing.
Oh, a thing that has no capacity to think can't consent? Oh my god.
Yeah, it's immoral to use it. Yeah, immoral.
I'm sorry.
Wait, a robot can't think? A robot can't think?
No, it can't.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my god.
You think
In
it
your
can?
under your paradigm, it can. Under your paradigm, anything is possible.
Really good fucking response, dude. I'm glad you're.
Yeah, literally anything is possible under your paradigm because there is no foundation.
Anything is possible. Like you not be in a Norwood.
Well, no, there's a foundation. It's just the foundation's Demos. So he's actually signing off on all this.
I'm a psyop.
No, you're signing off on all this because remember you said
you're signing off on all of it.
What you interpret, and you're the
Sex with
perceiver of your
goats,
reality, and you decide what's real. Remember?
Incest. You sign off on all of it.
On your wish list, dude. I bet Santa will come give you a goat and a sister to fuck later this Christmas, dude. Yeah. Jesus.
Oh,
Christ.
he gave me a wife. It was fantastic.
Is that your sister or your mother?
You guys have done this.
Latina.
You guys have done this like wrong, right? You guys have done this like. I'm gonna explain to you why you guys have done this wrong, right? So okay. Let me go back to where this started, okay? So you said
easy. Let's go to where it
justified.
started.
Justified is anything that's like within reasoning, right?
Within reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Or logic. Or logical.
Right. So say I argue that like this is an internal critique, okay? Consent doesn't matter because having as many babies as possible is more important than the consent, and this would be a justified reasoning for having
For Muslim.
at least for having sex with people as soon as they get their period.
It's a justification for rape, for sure.
Okay, I would say that. I mean, now we're talking in moral terms. I mean, I would say that
there's no moral there.
Demos, I got
I'm just saying it would
What do you mean?
justify
It'd be
the
at
action.
a biological time.
Okay,
It'd be at the period.
In your
we're talking about two different definitions of the word justify. The first definition that you're talking about is justified in a like logical, grounded sense. The second is moral justification. So you're asking me, why is it not justified to have that position about making as many babies as possible? I would reference a normative moral argument. I would argue that consent relates to the moral worth of a human being, and that is inviolate, above and beyond any utilitarian desire to have as many babies as possible. But if you're asking me, is there like a logical justification to that argument? That's a different question, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Maybe if we, so Demos, maybe you can help me out because I'm a little slower than the rest of the people on this panel. Maybe we can work this problem backwards. Okay, so obviously you are a person, you're a being, you're in existence, and you observe things, right? So then let's say you witness, a crime or something, right?
Okay.
What's your interpretation of that situation? Call it a bank robbery, right? Just something basic.
What do you mean?
You're a witness to someone wearing a ski mask and brandishing a firearm, and they go into a bank, and they're saying, hey, everybody, hands up. What's your interpretation of that situation?
Somebody robbed a bank. That's my interpretation. What do you like? Are you asking me to say whether it's a moral thing that they did or like what?
Well, I'm trying to work backwards from instead of your P1, P2, P3. I'm trying to see what's guiding you to your decision making and your interpretations.
My decision making as to what's happening in front of me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if you want me to work backwards or forwards, I guess it can work forwards. I think that makes more sense. As a presuppositional belief, I believe that my sense perceptions are valid and accurate. And so the things that I see in front of me, I believe that those things are happening in real time. And so I see what looks to be a person robbing a bank. As such, I believe that the event, a person robbing the bank, has happened. That's my interpretation.
Okay. So now, from that situation, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah, you're witnessing something, and it's like, okay, what is your next action after that?
I'd probably call the cops.
Okay.
Oh yeah, easy. You would have had him in tough guy.
You notice how nobody's laughing at your jokes?
He's not here to laugh
I
at
actually
it.
thought
He's not
it
here to
was
laugh at
hilarious
it.
when Gabriel was giving his outro, and then just like in the middle of it, Avarice goes, "Under this dude's paradigm, I can fuck my sister," in the middle of Emmett. And Gabe is like, "Yeah, let's set up a debate on Christianity." Avarice just goes, "Under this dude's paradigm, I can fuck my sister." I was like, "God damn."
Well, this guy's a retard.
This guy really was a fucking sister, dude. Holy shit.
No, he's saying one sec, let me clarify. The reason why he does this, it's to stress test your logic here is just consent.
He was like, "Oh my god,
so
I get
under your consent paradigm, there's so much fucked up shit that you would allow because you have no logical justification to stop that.
So, I do have two questions.
Cops, but why?
Okay. I have two questions real quick. I have two questions. So,
okay.
The first one, when you're talking about you rely on your senses, okay?
Yeah.
Can you please tell me how do you get from that ease that you're saying it's reliable and not?
How do I get there?
How do you get your ought from an ease? Yes.
Oh, well, we're talking about morality right now. Okay. How do I get my ought from an is?
Yes.
I am a Kantian, so I follow the categorical imperative and not treating the person as an end. And
a Kantian, he follows Kant.
Okay, so you follow it through a but
Shit.
Yeah, because next you're gonna be like, I follow Jungian too. I'm a Jungian follower next.
I'm a Jungian.
Start
I'm a
breaking
Jungian.
things down. I'm ready to go on a spiritual journey and find my warrior self. Fucking crazy
Wish
shit.
you could find your fucking Norwood self, you balding motherfucker.
I don't even know what Norwood is, you fucking idiot.
Look it up. You're on the fucking 90 percentile, buddy. Your hairline's farther back than your fucking IQ.
It's always the hair with you guys. Who gives a shit? If it can go away for all I give a fuck, my hair doesn't make up my fucking presence
Well, I mean, if
here
your hair
on the
goes away,
fucking
you might not be
stage.
able to fuck your sister. So, I mean, who knows?
But
That doesn't
all right.
logically add up,
So
you
back to
stupid
the
fuck.
question: how do you get
But-
your
It's just
odds
not
from
gonna wanna
your?
fuck
How do
with
you
your
get
ball,
your odds from?
how do you
Israel
get the odds from
your-
the east?
Yeah, from your paradigm or from your perception.
It's a really hard question. I don't know how to answer how to get an odd from it is.
Okay, so when you're talking about your moral normativity, if you cannot get odds from Isis, how do you get the normativity?
The best way that I can define how I get an ought from an is whenever we have conversations or we have interactions with each other, there is a shared norm in which truth is to be valued, right? When we have conversations with each other, it is self-defeating if that conversation exists where one person is not valuing the truth. And so I get
is the truth.
Wait. Fuck, Demos, we fucked up. Hold on a second here. We should have asked you what is an ought and what is an is. Because earlier you were talking about objective and subjective and
fair.
Yeah.
I mean, an is a descriptive fact, and an ought is a prescriptive fact. So a description is like what is existing, and an ought is usually what is like an action one should take in a given situation.
Yes. How do you get to the ought from your east paradigm?
Yeah, so what is the truth, and we ought to value the truth, and so we get to the.
How do you know what the truth is?
Wait, before that, you said that we ought value. This is the problem that I see, right? You said, "Hey, we ought follow the truth," but we're talking about how we get to that ought. If I am a scammer and I'm getting a ton of money out of scamming people and lying to them, why ought I not do it?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. That's like 30, 40 layers above the conversation.
No, I'm not really. You just got to explain what the is that they're looking to make a lot of money, so the odd is they're going to do what they need to do to make the money, right?
This is so above us. Stop jumping to conclusions. Don't get that mad out. How dare you office space this?
Yeah, I
Don't
love
jump
when
to
the chimpanzees
conclusions.
are slinging his shit all over the cage.
Because you're a fucking retard.
Yeah, you're the bro. I'm the retard. You're the fucking pedophile. All right.
You said this was
Have fun
above
figuring out
30
what it is,
floors above. Where did we can't even get here? In order to answer every question, I need to string 30 floors of reason to get to this.
Go there, you fucking.
You're so retarded.
Yeah, all right. No, the point of what I'm trying to say is that in any conversation, you cannot have a conversation in which there is not a shared understanding, right? Like, I can't communicate with you unless we both agree on what a tree is when I say the word tree, or when we both agree on what a flower is when I say the word flower. So at some level, there is a shared understanding of the truth that exists beneath the conversation that's happening with the scammer. So like when the scammer says, I want you to get a gift card for me so I can help my 50 children back in India, we all know like what gift card means. Both of the people in that conversation know what gift card means. Both of the people in that conversation know what children is. They might be lying to them in that they're using those shared foundational truths in order to speak to some false higher thing, but the lower things are still common.
That's not true. It could be a different kind of gift card.
Wait, but those are descriptors of Isis, right? I'm just describing the is object of the gift card, which can be fine. You can have descriptors in when it comes to language. The language model can be.
Is that card a gift? And if it's a gift, could it be considered a gift card?
When we're talking about the descriptor of the language itself, I can grant that we have some kind of understanding in the descriptor, but that doesn't tell me, okay, it doesn't give me a not. If in the descriptor I'm using, I'm just going off ahead and just using it to get as much money out of you as I can.
Yeah,
or
no,
I
no,
do
what
it,
I'm-
or
what
I
I'm
not
saying-
do it, or
what I'm
I use a different kind of language, or I not use a different kind of language. Like, where do I get this odd from the descriptor?
No, no. Yeah, what I'm saying is that beneath the conversation, right? Okay, let's just agree on this, right? If two people are having a conversation, whatever conversation that they're having, they have to agree on some shared descriptive thing, right?
I'm saying that
Well,
yes,
sure,
we are
yeah,
describing things, but
Let's
that
go
doesn't
from
give
there.
me, but that
Let's
doesn't
go from
tell
there.
me any odds.
No, so the fundamental ought there, right, at the bottom of that pyramid is that we ought to believe in that like foundational descriptive reality.
Nope, that doesn't tell me that.
That jumps
If
too
I
far,
want,
though. That jumps
I don't believe
40
it.
why
layers
ought I
ahead right
communicate
there.
with people? That doesn't tell me. That doesn't
And
really
that,
give
it
me
jumps
that.
40 layers ahead.
How
You're
can you
making an
communicate with
understanding of
someone
that
if
we're
you
going to
don't-
interpret the same things the same way with the same frameworks.
No, but how can you communicate with someone if you don't have a shared understanding of the world?
That is
By
a
talking,
question. That's a pragmatic question. The pragmatic question you're asking is
No,
how
no,
you're going
it's
to
not a
communicate.
pragmatic
That doesn't
question.
tell me if I
It's a methodological
should. It
question.
doesn't tell me if I don't want to communicate with people and I start speaking Spanish, let's say.
Okay,
Am
but
I doing
No,
wrong?
Mama's way.
when you say the word tienda and I said the word store, we both have a shared understanding of what that object is through the language,
No.
right?
No,
I disagree.
no idea.
What?
Not me.
Yeah.
What the hell's a tienda?
No, if you say tienda
What's a
and I say
store?
store,
What do you
there is
mean
some
by
object
store?
which underlies both of those that we both are sharing when we say those two words.
Okay, store.
if
Store
I-
like a place where you can
Wait.
purchase goods. Store like a
Wait.
place where you can store equipment and stuff.
No, wait a second. Wait.
An
No,
action.
He's
An
talking
adjective.
Spanish. Wait a second. So, I disagree with you only on that on the aspect that under your paradigm, okay, under your own paradigm, it is dependent upon the person if they have the object or not. So, if I am a subjectivist, and let's say that I have the idea of tienda as house, and you say tienda as if it is a store, we're not actually communicating, are we?
Yeah, but there, like you can't have a conversation, or you can't engage in communication, or you
Yeah,
can't.
but the
do
can is an
anything
is a statement.
people
I want to
don't
know
have
why
shared
ought I.
understanding.
Wait, or even simpler than that. So if you, so where how do you bridge that gap, Demas? If you guys don't understand the
Yeah, or
topics
I
being
understand
explained,
you. Let's say that
like
we
the-
speak
like the
different
transcendental-
languages.
Okay,
Or I understand you. Why?
Let's make this so simple. Let's make this
Mm-hmm.
so simple. Okay.
Well, while we're at it, can we just take a moment to get JS's Chanda to stick was just superb. Was fantastic.
The end of this dick.
Okay, go back, Haji.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Sorry for the the digest there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead, make it super simple for us.
Okay.
Again. We're trying to get
Let me put it this way. Let's say that I start speaking Spanish to you out in the street, and you look at me confused, and instead of
No,
wanting
I'm
to
gonna
talk to me, you'd call eyes and say, "Take this fucking Mexican out of my country." Why is that wrong?
The fuck? Okay, I don't know.
Damn it, are you a mind reader?
Oh God.
No,
We
no.
are talking. You said that we have. You said, just to be sure, so that you understand why my argument is this way. You said that when we are talking to other people, there is a shared understanding that we ought communicate. Let's say that I go to Avaris and I start saying, "Hi, Avaris, mi nombre es Jose, and I want to know, And he's like, instead of wanting to understand me because I'm Mexican, he says, "Hey, get this," he starts calling eyes and tell eyes to take me out of the country because he doesn't want to deal with fucking Mexicans.
Hola, yo Avaris.
Is there like an odd statement that is broken there? Did he act incorrectly because instead of trying to understand me, he just called eyes to take me the fuck away? What is there a problem there in the ideas?
Even in that example, okay, when whatever his name, Alvarez or whatever, says mi nombre es Jose or some shit.
Señor, mi nombre es Jose.
I feel like I need to give you a
yo
quarter,
quisiera decirle,
and you're
señor,
gonna do my
que-
yard work.
Que si me puede dar un poquito de trabajo, señor.
Yeah, I'll show you to the back.
Tú eres, Luis.
20 a day. I need a root gun.
No, what I was trying to derail me. What I meant to say was,
yeah, because you felt like you needed to go back to Home Depot, didn't you?
Yeah.
Go back to the. Yeah, okay. I'm done with the pedo jokes. It's not even funny anymore. Anyways,
Just one question: how much do you gentlemen charge for a 3/4 acre?
What?
Make use of that.
And are you doing that with push assisted or zero turn?
Yeah. Okay. So
Jesus.
So that the question is, did he do something
shebang.
wrong because he didn't want to communicate with me in my native language, or what is the problem?
Okay,
here?
I was not trying to say that we ought to communicate with one another. That wasn't what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is that whenever there are two entities in the same space, right, there has to be a shared descriptive reality, right? Even in the example that you were saying, even in the example
to the Native Americans.
calls ice, right? When the other person
White man came in like, "Hey, we'll buy this land." Native American like, "Oh, no."
Hold up, boys. Hold up. Let him get it out. Let him get his answer out, guys. There's more of you than there is of him, so let him get his answer.
Both people are seeing a truck approach the area, and people come out and grab whatever and putting them in the truck. That is a shared descriptive reality. In order for two people to exist in the same space, two entities, there has to be a shared descriptive reality. And so that forms the basis, in my opinion, of objective morals, which grounds an ought and an is.
Wait, run that. Say that again real slow.
The idea, okay, incredibly simple. Let's say that there are two cavemen in a cave, right? And they don't have any language.
I understood your part where you were saying that there was two people and they're sharing the same reality because they're in that existence in that same point.
Yes.
You know, time, space, matter, they all meet up and line up in that same spot. They're both observing the same existence. I just didn't quite catch and understand the part you said after that.
Okay.
There's a truck coming and then boom.
Yeah, I was just trying to work within the framework of the previous example. But the idea is, if there are two entities in the same space and they're inhabiting the same reality, there is a shared understanding of that reality that exists between them that forms the basis of the first value judgment.
I think
and the value judgment
laws
is
of physics for two entities to occupy the same space at the same time.
What?
Russ, he's talking
about
6 feet apart in the
laws
same
of physics
area,
for
not
two
necessarily in the
entities to
same
occupy the same space at the same time.
That's an autistic thing to say. All right. The point is, there has to be shared.
How hard is it to
reality.
communicate? Your definitions are my definitions, buddy.
No, you're just like you know what I was trying to say. Like, just trying to be autistic.
No, I don't.
Two people standing on the
I
same
have no
corner,
idea
6
what
feet
you were trying
apart.
to say. You said something that's completely illogical to me, so I had to point that
Okay,
out.
two entities occupying different spaces at the same time have to have a shared understanding of the reality if they can both observe each other. Is that better?
Wait, but why ought we? Let's say that he sees a
Because
truck and
it's
I see
impossible
a spaceship moving because I am, my
do you
mom
do
had
about people
a
with
problem
schizophrenia?
when she was growing up near my dad, and well, things happened that conceived me. So if that is the case, and I am kind of very retarded, and I look at what you call a truck as a spaceship. Like,
okay,
what is the problem? Like, are you telling me that your reality is better than my reality, or how do we get there?
It doesn't matter what you think the object is. The point is that there is some shared descriptive reality that you are both inhabiting at the same time.
Is there?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not what you know; it's what you can prove.
and then, hold on, guys, dude. What, bro? Put this guy in a preschool now so he can fuck as many kids as he wants, please. Genuinely.
Yeah. Hi, mi nombre es Nate.
Hey, you're signing off on that under your paradigm. I'm just saying, you better watch that.
What?
So, Nate,
I said you're signing off on that under your paradigm.
Yeah, you're the one that signed it off on it.
That's not true, by the way.
Yeah, you're signing off on it. You think it's okay?
Somebody put this kid in. You said somebody put this guy in a preschool, and it's like, oh, you better watch out.
You let it. You're letting it okay.
I just think it's ridiculous that this guy's bringing.
You think it's okay?
Like, he's thinking about it all the time. Like, what a fucking creep.
No,
it's
you just think
basically
it's
an attack
okay.
on what your basis is for your grounding, for justification, for morality. Because
I
your
still don't
answer
know
to
how you
that,
get a nod from an is. Like,
yeah. Oh,
whenever
sorry. I
I
mean, yeah. Out from an is. That's where we're at. And guys stand on the corner.
if I were to delete a person in reality, does that tell me if that person, if me deleting that person is good or bad?
What are you? What?
Yeah, if I were to go on and kill a person, because delete is very complicated for you to understand. If I were to
take it back to the people in the corner.
delete a person, that is an is statement. You see that happen. Does that tell you if what I did is good or bad?
Yeah, take
That
it back to the
alone,
people
no.
in the corner. The two people getting an altercation. One of them wants to end the other one.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
So under the framework,
I
what
would
is
say
the
it's
is and what
bad,
is the
yeah.
odd?
Yeah, I don't
They're
think you seeing it is what justifies it or unjustifies it. The point is that the basis of any of my moral system that's grounded not in divine revelation, but in the existence of a shared descriptive reality, builds up eventually to a point where we can say that murder is immoral or killing is immoral.
So you're a secular humanist?
That's not true.
Not really.
That's not true because it's proven that civilization throughout time has actually been pro-death. It wasn't until Christianity came through and actually was against murder. This is true. Up until Christianity, everybody was murdering everybody. Everybody was murdering everybody.
You retard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Let's say that I'm Chief Emmett in this specific thing, okay? And I got to be Chief Emmett because I literally called my older chief Demos a dork, and then I stabbed him in the heart. And now I'm chief. Is what I did wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Why?
Why?
Because you shouldn't kill people for reasons like that.
That is
Why?
Why?
Because you are violating. In that case, you'd be violating the principle of not treating people as a means to an end.
No, he's violating
should we follow
your
that
paradigm,
principle?
not his paradigm, though. What if he goes off of his paradigm?
Well,
and
I don't
says
think
it's
that
okay
there-
to
I don't
take out a disgruntled chief to save his people.
I don't think that
Why
there
should
are
we
two
follow that
different
paradigm? Because, for example, the counter example is that if I don't follow that paradigm, or if Emmett doesn't follow that
No, I
paradigm,
don't
he
think
can become chief.
I'm an objective. I believe in objective morality. I don't think that there is such a thing as a separate paradigm where you can have you can murder people.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing. All of us live under the Christian paradigm.
Well,
and you were on
do
the
you ground
outside
those objective
paradigm.
morals?
Well, I don't
how do you
think
get
I don't
to that?
think that I don't think that morality is grounded in divine revelation, and so I would say
Or
that.
it doesn't.
Tell
What?
that to the what
Right.
group is that in Papua New Guinea? What warriors?
Oh,
No,
shit.
we're not going to the
Have you ever
No.
heard of those guys? Somebody please elaborate.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
How would you ground your
Don't worry about it.
morals,
It doesn't
your
pertain to this
objective
conversation
morality?
right now.
What is your objective standard that you point to when you say that morality is objective?
I just have been talking about it forever.
Yeah, but
There's a
I
shared
think it's
reality.
objectively in the is me being chief is good.
No, it's not. I would say I don't think it is.
It's
What?
better that Demos being chief. That guy was an asshole.
I'm not a utilitarian, so I wouldn't say that. No. I don't think
What has that to do with anything?
you just justified the claim by saying it's better because I was a bad chief and you're a better one. That's a utilitarian argument.
No, it's because in my paradigm, in this my subjective idea and view,
I don't think that
you
there
were
is
an
such a
asshole and I was going to be a better
argument against
chief, so I
Trump.
deleted you, and that's perfectly justified in my paradigm. Why
And in
wouldn't
my
that be?
unicorn fairy world, you had a fucking horn grown out of your ass, and so Avarice could grind his fucking ass against it.
Are you? No, we decided that
Oh,
was
whoa,
immoral
all
because you
right.
said that he
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah, that's a
consent.
little
Now we know
far.
what he's thinking about, right?
Yeah.
Do
Do you remember? If you remember, yeah, I know you have problem with this conversation, but we actually went to the point in which you agreed that all toys are immoral because they can't consent. Okay, so no toys. We are an anti-toy place. No toys. So once again, I
wanna
just
ask
want to
me-
know
wanna ask
when
me
it comes
why-
to.
You want to ask me why I don't think that? You want to ask me why I don't think that, or are you just going to continue to?
No, I'm not gonna. We already. We literally went through these. Okay, I ask you if it's
we
necessary
didn't. We
for
just
any
agreed.
action for any. Is it necessary for any sexual act to be consensual? You say yes. These things, because are things they cannot consent. Thus, it's an immoral act. Okay, I'm sorry that you don't understand basic freaking logic.
Let me clarify.
So before we move forward, I just really want to know, why is it wrong for me to be chief by destroying our last chief Demos because he was an asshole?
Because you violate violate the principle of treating people as a means to an end. You violate the categorical imperative.
I don't.
And you
Why do I care about that principle?
What's the basis for your means to an end, and then what's the categorical imperative?
For example, when I go to Starbucks and I ask a person to get me a fucking coffee and I pay them, did I use those person for a means to an end?
Like, yeah, kind of, basically.
Is it okay? So I'm violate that principle all the fucking time. Okay, I just go on and kill you anyway. So that's no problem. I don't see a problem there.
The point of that principle is not to say that you can't ask someone to do something for you. The point of that principle is to not treat people as ways to achieve ends. That
I
don't
demand
involve
it.
that
I
person
don't ask him. I
achieving
demand
ends
my
the same
coffee.
way.
But the key thing here is, why should we follow that principle?
Why?
Well, I would say because it's grounded in a shared descriptive reality.
Okay, so in that shared descriptive reality,
Johnny,
that's
stop.
Oh.
Emmett disagrees with that principle. He wants to become chief.
I don't think that.
Now
Well,
what?
yeah, I will articulate a set of logical reasons why our shared descriptive reality create those principles. That's what I would say. There's
In
a
our
chain.
shared descriptive
from the bottom to the
reality,
top.
my argument is I'm gonna take your heart out and eat it because that is part of my culture, and I.
Okay, if I was
Who's all sharing this descriptive reality with you?
I mean, if I was a
I'm
Christian,
hungry for human
and you were
heart.
some tribal warlord and you want
Monkey
to rip my
brain.
heart out, that doesn't change the fact, like whether or not morality exists, that you can do that. The point of what we're arguing is whether that action is justified, not whether you
It is
can do
justified on my worldview and paradigm would be
I don't
absolutely
think
justified.
your worldview is incorrect. That's what I'm trying to say.
How do you know
Off
it's
what
incorrect? I
ground?
think yours is incorrect. You
Off
literally
what
told me a
ground?
moment ago
You-
that I cannot use people for a means to an end, but I do it all the time. I demand out of people who work in a Starbucks coffee. I demand it. I go there and I'm like, here's my card. I want my coffee, and they do it, and that's a means to an
I would
end.
say it's immoral to slam your card down on a desk and demand someone does shit for you. I think you should be nice to them and give them respect. Like morality.
Why ought I?
Yeah, what? Be nice? For what reason?
Morality dictates people be nice to each other?
Yes,
I don't think so.
What's your definition of morality?
Every time,
what's
let's say
your
that I'm on a
definition of
call
nice
and I'm very
also?
busy. Okay, I'm on a call. I'm very busy. I go to a Starbucks. I'm like, hey, I want this coffee, and then I don't say thank you or anything. Okay, and they give me the coffee. Is that an immoral action now? I can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh well.
Okay, so
I don't
then
know.
if they give the coffee to Emmett and he says, "Hey, fuck off," is that immoral?
Yeah, probably. You
Oh,
probably shouldn't say
okay.
I don't understand where it is. Like everything is immoral now.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as it offends you, it's immoral, dude.
Except for the acts done to Tots, apparently.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Oh, your God!
Oh,
Hola, Senor Nate.
Who's God?
You
God in
can't
your
buy
paradise?
anything from any store now. You understand this
Are you
now,
the
Demo,
arbiter of
right?
your
No
zoning
more
district?
purchases from you.
So I have a question for him, and I'm not one of these high level intellectuals like these guys. So when they were asking for the how you got the ought from the is, can you explain it to someone who has not had any college, or just assume I'm like a 14-year-old Down syndrome dude? Can you explain it to me there on that
I'll
level?
explain it- Okay, so I'll explain it like I would to Avarice, since he's basically the equivalent of one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No one here is getting
That's a
edified.
very moral action, by the way.
Sorry, I
that
had
was
to say
very
it.
moral.
Sorry.
He was
Yeah,
not
no, I
fucking
was
nice.
Taking pot shots, man.
I'm
You
a
know,
naughty
that's-
boy. I know. I've been a
yeah.
naughty boy.
You know what it is. You think I'm pretty, don't you, you fag?
Hey, we're on YouTube, dickhead.
sorry.
We're YouTube, dickhead.
Let him fucking get his thing off, you fucking idiot.
All right.
Quick, everybody start speaking.
Let me explain it to you. Okay, the idea.
I was talking about a bundle of cigarettes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Twinkie boy.
I've got a fresh pack here for you.
This guy looks like a fucking Q-tip. All right. The point is that you got two people, entities, people with brains, with minds, things with minds, inhabiting a shared space. So they're in the shared space.
That's entirely subjective.
Yeah, and you're entirely
guys. Everybody, shut the fuck up because you're just allowing him to avoid answering this question, and it's basically the whole premise of the whole thing. So please,
it's interesting.
Someone peppers me back, dude. It's like salt and pepper. All right.
Let the man talk.
Two entities with minds inhabiting a shared space have to agree, or they do agree on a shared descriptive reality in order to communicate or have any interaction with one another, right? One cannot speak of morality, right? You cannot have morality without other entities, right? Morality doesn't make sense if it's not relational. The third thing is, because that shared descriptive reality.
Hold on. I need to clarify because again, I'm a 14-year-old Down syndrome dude. Okay. Yeah. So my morality is dependent on someone, on another person, another individual agreeing with it. Is what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is, okay, there's two premises here, right? The first one is a descriptive premise, right? If you and another person are inhabiting the same space, you agree on a shared reality of that space. If you and I are in the same room, we agree on the shared reality of that room and the things that are in it. Okay?
How do we know that you and I agree on that? Are we like the door is not quite in the corner, but it's not quite in the middle, and the window is in the middle of that wall?
The idea,
and they're opposite, like we discussed that, so that we both understand that we're in the same reality.
The idea is, right, like when two of us are sharing the same space, we see the same things out of our eyes. We see the same objects out of our eyes, right? Like, I see the table in the corner there. You also see the table in the corner there. It's not like the words we're using. It's the objects those words describe. We both all agree on the objects being in the room in the way that we both understand them to be in the room. Do you understand?
I get what you're saying. Kind of.
Okay.
So can that object that we both see become not the object it is?
Okay.
Right. I have a question about that real quick. Is it an imposition of the space, or is an agreement upon the space?
Yeah.
It's an imposition on the space of the space.
So
yeah.
Even if we don't agree, the space is still the same?
No. The point is, when we are in it.
Well, no. I have that question. If you and I don't agree and I don't see a table, instead I see a plant. I see a planter with a ficus tree in the corner, but you see a table. Is it the space, or is it the fact that we agree on it that makes it a shared space?
Well, the idea is that the space exists independently of both of them, and that the two people are inhabiting a shared reality.
The space is objective. It's the subjective of the people in the room doesn't matter.
Yeah, the point is, okay, if we were both in a room with a red ball in the middle of the room, right? We would both have a shared reality that there exists a room with a red ball in its middle.
You mean a blue square?
Purple triangle.
An object.
Square circle.
I prefer green.
I saw a blue square.
We'll play with this.
Okay.
It's a room with things, okay? You're in a thing with things, and things are.
Is it a red ball or a blue square?
It doesn't matter what words we use.
Okay.
There's objects in a room. like language breaks at a certain point. This is a point in which language breaks because words describe things. I'm talking about the things, not the words. Does that make sense?
Okay, so there's a
Okay,
there's
we
a
have to
piece of
agree.
mass in a room.
Hold on. Down syndrome, dude, just needing clarification. When are we going to get to the point where you explain to me how the morality of the situation is dependent on the other people who are around me?
Okay, yeah. So that's the second premise. The
He's
idea
retarded.
and that premise, maybe this is the controversial one, is that morality cannot exist without multiple entities, without more than one entity. Right? So,
Okay,
morality
one question
really
about that,
cannot
real quick.
exist if you were alone. Like if
Yeah,
if
let's say
everyone
that I
else
am
in the-
alone. I
in
have
the
a question about
universe-
that.
Hold on, track that back real quick, Demos. You just
one
confused
question.
the shit out of everyone, mainly yourself. Run that
before
back.
we move
Say it again real
forward.
slow.
Wait, before we move forward. Let's say that I am the only person in the universe. Okay? I am the only person in the universe. Is there an odd claim that I can come up with as of how should I act? For example, ought I act in accordance to reality?
What is acting in accordance
That's a
to
pretty deep question, Emmett.
So I am the only person in the universe, okay? For my,
What does that mean, though?
Is that should I ought act as a person in the universe? Should I, fend for myself? Should I try to survive? Or I'm the only person in reality. There's no odds. I'm gonna be.
Okay, let me explain it. Let me clarify, Emma. Let me clarify.
I'm not understanding what
You're
that
the only person. One sec, Demos. You're the only person in the universe. Should you believe in unicorns being real?
Should I believe in unicorns being real?
Yeah, you're the only person in the universe. Should you believe that unicorns are real?
I would say that. Well, I don't think you can have morality or should ought claims if you're the only person in the universe.
What if you're the only entity? No.
What if you want to jump into?
Yeah, no, that's premise too.
Okay.
Of the,
What if you want to jump into?
Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Ought you jump into a volcano?
I literally
would
just
challenge
had.
you to find.
Nate, I'm hopping in the truck with you, dude. I just ate paint chips and I'm seeing shit now.
Right.
I mean,
but I
am
just
the only person in the universe.
had an
Should
I need gasoline in here.
One last question. I am the only person in the universe. Should I cut my arms off?
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
So,
Okay,
you're in a room
he
with
just
100 people
confirmed.
with
He just
schizophrenia. Are you sharing the same reality?
Oh my god!
Wait, explain to me why that's wrong. Like if you're alone, like why the fuck does it matter?
Because what
it
created
matters.
the space that you're in? What made the existence?
Okay, that's entirely irrelevant question.
No, I'm going to tell you why
No,
it matters.
irrelevant.
Because I am a being.
Two people in a room. What put the room there? What put the people in the room?
That's
the
let me
irrelevant
explain
part
this
of the
real quick. Let
question.
me explain this real quick because this is literally, it ties back to like Plato and all this kind of shit. What you're saying with that statement, Demos, is that like being moral is irrelevant. Like being perceived moral, that's where you see the value. The actual value and morality of actually being a moral person and not being perceived. Like that's where you get your perception of others. You don't actually get your perception of morality as an objective source.
No.
Yeah.
What I would say is that I'm not saying that it's about perception. I'm saying that morality requires as a thing, morality as
how others perceive you
requires two entities. Not because others have to perceive you, but because morality involves the relation between one entity and another entity.
How others perceive you. That's what you think morality is, but that's not what
It's
morality
not
is.
perception, it's relation.
Yeah. Which is how they're going to base their relationship on you and how they perceive you.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me ask.
Yeah, but no, just let me.
Okay,
One second.
like-
I'll give it back. I'll give it
Okay.
back. So I sat through all this bullshit. One sec. Like you basically use morality as a means to an end. You use
Let me
morality as a
explain
tool
Let me
because you want to be
explain
treated better by others because the perception of you being a moral person is going to give you more or better relationships with others in your community. That's not what morality is.
This is why you'll get along with the Islamics.
That's not exactly what I'm saying. Okay.
Muslims,
Let me-
Islamists, I love you.
Okay, let me
I think
let
you
me
mean
let me make
Lakba.
this clear. Let me make this clear, okay?
Mhm.
If you
Crystal.
see, Okay, if all you could see, right, was light, right? If all you could see was brightness, there would be nothing. Like there would be nothing because that's the only thing you have. There's only one thing, right? But when you see a flash of darkness, then you have something to compare that light to. And so you have a relation between two things that exist only because there are two entities that exist at that moment. In the
So
same
you're saying
way,
that we've had morality ever since there was light and dark.
Light's an entity.
no, I'm not. It's an analogy. I'm trying to explain that, like, a thing like morality, which is a prescription, can only exist if there are other entities to weigh that prescription against.
Okay.
Okay, so I have a question.
Can you do
I have
something
a
immoral
question.
against yourself?
What?
Can you do anything immoral against yourself?
Yeah, you can.
Based on what?
Okay.
Because we don't inhabit a universe that is just us, right? Like we inhabit a universe with other people.
So it's majority rules which determines morality.
No.
Basically, what you're trying
Well,
to say.
that was going to be my next question here, Rev. So, all right. So, hold on. So,
Because I mean, if it requires
back to what I was saying. Now all things can be legal based on majority rule.
Based on what they see.
And he wants to join the Muslim and fuck goats.
Secular humanism at its finest.
So my question then is if it's based on shared reality and perception of said reality, what happens when you're one person in a room full of 10 schizophrenics? Say it's only you 11 people on Earth. How are you guys perceiving the same reality? One schizophrenic sees a giraffe, one sees a unicorn, the other one sees a
hippopotamus,
a police uniform. Yeah, hippopotamus.
It doesn't really matter.
How do you then
remember? One sees their mother on a bike.
Some people who have schizophrenia, they're just off the rocker completely.
Damn.
So now how do you judge now? Where's your barometer for morality? Because each dude in this room is completely different from the other. They're all nuts. And then how do you know that you're the sane one in the room, and how do you know that your reality is the objective reality?
Yeah.
Everybody else in the room doesn't see the same things you do.
I want to thank you and congratulate you for the first good fucking question I've heard in the past 20 minutes. So,
hey, just because you can't perceive our questions as good questions doesn't mean we're not relating on the same plane here. Everyone else seems to get it, but that's okay.
No, I wasn't just asking the question. How can you trust the reliability of your sense perception in being able to judge the shared reality, which is a good question.
How can we trust your senses when you're the one perceiving it?
I would say, as I have for this entire call, that reliability of sense perception is one of those things that I treat as an unjustified presupposition. And so we have to kind of exist in a reality in which all of us believe that our sense perceptions are valid. Those among us who we consider to have faulty sense perceptions, we treat and try to cure and put in containers where they can't affect our perception of reality because they have faulty sense perceptions. Which one know is true?
Don't get drunk on the weekend, folks.
Is reading reality in the correct way. But the point is that
let's continue from this real quick, though. So you're telling me that just because the schizophrenics are the minority and they don't perceive reality as the majority, then the majority decides to lock them up. So again, if you're the only sane man in a room full of psychopaths, then by your paradigm, you're the one who should be in cage.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I'll bite that bullet. If I was in a room of 15 psychopaths or schizophrenics, I mean, maybe I'm the schizophrenic then, right? Like we don't exist in reality.
Oh, what? You wouldn't have a basis or grounding for the truth that you would know that'd be the truth?
Well,
My God.
we all
Please
don't
protect any Christian in their Muslim land.
So now if everybody around you is factually wrong on something, just completely wrong.
Yeah, but how do
and
you know
you're the only one who thinks that you're right? How do you know that you're right? And where do you ground that?
How do I know that I'm right is the question. I don't. Nobody can justify that.
But Demos, you do realize that, like, if you were in 1940s Germany, you would become a Nazi, or you'd be like, no, it's completely justified for the Nazis to lock me up. That's where this gets
I would say that, okay, I think I know Avarice is going to fucking burst out laughing again because he's a Spurgeon retard. But I would say that ideological difference of opinion is like on a higher level than what we're talking about here, which is a shared basis of reality. I would say that like a 1940s German or whatever probably has the same shared descriptive reality here, which is like, you know, the room with the red ball in it. Whereas when we're building up to those political opinions, there's some fact or thing in that chain that is broken between both of us that I hopefully could mend by showing them the objective morality as it pretends from the bottom to the top. We're not disagreeing on the foundation. We're disagreeing on some higher secondary, tertiary level opinion there.
I just want to be
We're going to try and ration.
Yeah, let's speak bridge the gap.
Let me try to do
Easy.
something
Go ahead.
here. Let me try to do something here, just so I'm clear. So just to be clear, you said that like sense perception is your like axiom for reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but do you see the like problem with that being like by itself an axiom for reality? Because like it only establishes that you're having a perceptual experience, right? It doesn't establish that the experience corresponds with an external reality.
Yeah, I mean, my axiom is that what I'm perceiving is happening is actually happening in the world.
Okay, so then in this,
hold up, wait, Johnny, please give me one second. Give me 1 second.
You're cooking.
Right, the thing though, right? It's like if I perceive X is evidence that I'm experiencing X. X therefore exists externally exactly as I perceive it. That requires an additional principle connecting perception to reality, right? That connecting principle can't simply be my perceptions are reliable because I perceive that they are reliable, because that's just circular.
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to say
perceptor's reality.
What I'm trying to say is that it is circular, and that there is no way to solve that circularity. And so I would say, as an unjustified presupposition of my entire belief system as a person, that if I perceive X, X exists.
I'm about to leave, Easy, but thank you so much for having me on real quick. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah,
no worries. Thanks for coming up, Emmett.
Emmett, we traded blows.
All of you. What?
Yeah, it was fun. It's funny.
I don't know what you said at all.
No, I said we traded blows, but I thank you for the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for being here as well.
Tell everyone where they find you.
Yeah, you can follow me at account Emmett. I do ethics debates, and I have once a month right now the Force Karaoke. And I'm working on pixel art, other stuff, so hit me up if you want some pixel art. Then yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Thank you all for being around, and have an excellent night.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. See you later,
Have
Emmett.
a good one, Emmett. Out too. Bye.
God bless, Emmett.
Later, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, tell
on that
people. Hold up, wait just a second. Nate, Damo says he's got to go too. So yeah, tell people where they can find you. And tomorrow we do Verbal Kombat.
Maybe like 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I can do 5 more minutes. That's all right. That seems like Nate wants.
All right. Well, let me answer what you said then earlier. Let me wait 1 second. Let me answer him what he said then earlier. Then, because you said that we can't, right? Like it has to be like everyone's worldview, right? But so, if I was to say to you, right, like, so sense perception is like a mechanism of like knowing, but it wouldn't be the ultimate ground of knowing, right? Your senses can tell you what appears to be the case, but they can't independently prove that your senses do. So, God isn't justified by appealing, to something that's above God, right? God is defined as ultimate, necessarily existent, perfectly rational, and truthful ground of reality.
Okay. Yeah.
So this wouldn't be a circular axiom that you run into, right?
Okay, but like, how do you know that God exists?
Pardon?
Okay.
But like, how do you know that?
Wait, no, wait. How do I know that God exists?
Yeah.
Right. So, and like, this is basically, and you're basically asking me, without using reason or perception, right?
Well, no, just how do you know God exists?
Do you want me to use reason and perception, or
Well, just
without
yeah,
it?
you
Because like,
don't walk me through
it
the
wouldn't be
argument.
fair if I use something I told you that doesn't work, right? So, what I'm saying is that, I'm not saying I'm not gonna say to you what you're probably hoping. The question is, which is the ultimate foundation that actually can account for the things we already rely upon, right?
Yeah,
Logic,
I understand.
induction, rational inference, an external world, right? So my argument is that when you declare a sense of perception axiomatic, it doesn't actually account for any of those things. It actually just assumes them, right?
Well, yeah, I would say that regardless of whether you use God as an ultimate grounder of these things, I would say that regardless, you run into the same circular pattern of reasoning because there is no fundamental way to objectively ground things like sense perception, logic, PSR, etc. Like there just isn't a way to do that without.
Well, what if I said to you, I know God exists because God is the necessary precondition for knowledge itself? Right? I'm not reasoning from a sense of perception to God as though God were another object in the universe. That's what you're doing wrong, right? I'm arguing without that ultimate rational ground for reality, God, you can't account for the very things you're even using in this conversation.
Yeah, but when you say that I know God exists because God is XYZ, and then I ask you, why do you know that God is XYZ, or why is God XYZ? And then you say, I know this because of XYZ, and then I say, how do you know XYZ?
Well, I would use the transcendental argument if you wanted me to explain.
What?
Like I would use the transcendental argument. Do you know this?
Yeah, but how do you know that to be true, right?
How can you discredit it?
Wait.
No, but my question would be, how do you know that argument is true?
Wait, so what must be true for intelligible experience and knowledge to be possible at all? Because my claim is that the Christian God provides that foundation.
Well,
your worldview can't. So, like, give
phrase?
me like an account for like logic, induction, reliable cognition that doesn't just simply assume their reliability.
Yeah, I think like the ground for those things is that there is no way to think without having those things, right? Like human beings as they exist cannot think in ways that or reason in ways that divert from those principles, and so we kind of have to just we operate on that because we have to, not as a thing we can explain, but as a thing we have to contend with.
Well, how'd that come to be then?
Yep. Real quick, Johnny. In terms of what you're trying to say, Demos, is that logic, for example, is a concept that exists in the mind, but logic itself is not subjective; it's objective. Because it's a mind concept, there must exist a universal mind. That's the only way to explain it, which would point to the easiest point of the transcendental argument. The only way to explain the fact that we have these concepts that are objective, that are mind-dependent concepts, there must be a universal mind, which is what Christian God like.
Yeah, but that's you're sneaking it into the second premise when you say that P must exist because of Q. But the point is that.
Okay, wait a minute. But the Christian the Christian God provides that foundation. Do you have something else that does? Like that's what.
No. But what I'm saying
when the Christian God is the only explanation.
No. I don't think. I don't think.
However improbable must be the truth.
We're operating on a basis in which things like this must have explanations.
Yep.
Right? I don't think there is such a thing to have an explanation for logic or to have an explanation for sense perception. Like I think the second premise just doesn't make sense because the principle of sufficient reason fails when we talk about this particular.
Are the laws?
How?
Wait, are the laws of
No.
wait? No, let's go through that because you talked about that earlier, and that's fine. Are the laws of logic universal? Like they're not just true in America, right? Or like they're true everywhere.
As objective as possible. Yeah.
Right. And like
Objective being truth, right?
they're I forget the word for it, but like as in it can't become false tomorrow. Right? Like the law of non-contradiction can't become false tomorrow. I forget the word for it.
Yeah, I mean, the law of non-contradiction cannot be false.
All right. And they are necessary.
What do you mean by
like
that?
That's not just like an accidental feature of our universe. Like that's necessary for our universe to function.
In the way that we perceive it, yes. Okay.
In the way that we perceive it. Okay, hold up. Just give me a sec. Are they abstract? Like you can't physically like touch the law of identity, right?
Yeah, they're abstract, sure.
And are they normative for reasoning? Like we're not just describing how humans think. We're saying someone ought not affirm a contradiction in rational argument, right?
Okay, well that's I think that's a different conversation. But I don't think they're normative. I think that they
reasoning.
Why are these different conversations?
No. I think they're different conversations because I don't know what normative for reasoning has to do. I think they're necessary for reasoning.
Like the laws of logic are normative for reasoning. Like someone ought not affirm a contradiction in rational argument.
Sure, I don't really know how you're using that term, but yeah.
You can't say something
Ought
is something
not,
and
like
it's not
should
something.
not, like someone should not. Yeah, someone should not affirm any.
I would say that in rational conversation,
rational argument, yeah.
I would say it's not an ought not; it's a cannot. In rational conversation, one cannot.
Even better. It cannot exist. It cannot. Yeah.
So, what in your worldview accounts for something that is abstract, universal, can't be false, necessary,
Eternal.
and
unfalsifiable,
and has like an authority over rational thought?
Sorry, you're asking how I can account for that?
Yeah, what in your worldview accounts for something like that?
Well, I don't think I need to have something to account for it. Is what I'm trying to say is.
Well, if you're following the laws of logic, you can't say something exists, but it doesn't exist.
Wait, hold up.
You're operating under a philosophical underpinning called the principle of sufficient reason, which is the idea that everything must have a sufficient reason behind it. I take umbrage with that principle because I think things like this, like logic or like some universal abstract thing, don't have to have sufficient reasons. They just are. Right?
So it's just how logic is just how reality works, is basically what you're saying.
Yes,
it just is
essentially
right. Yeah. So that's describing. Hold up, Johnny, please 1 second, please. You're describing the phenomenon. You're not grounding it. I'm asking why reality necessarily conforms to these logical relations. Like why our minds have access to them too.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that is not, in my opinion, an answerable question. Like you cannot answer that question.
You just said there's no answer to it.
Yeah, I don't think there is not a reasonable there is not a true answer to that question.
There's no. Wait, now are you saying you don't have access to the truth, or are you saying there is no objective truth to that?
There's no way for me to come to an answer to that question.
Hey, easy. I got a show in the morning. I gotta skedaddle.
It better be a good show, or I'll boycott you.
Okay.
Go, boss, Avarice.
Avarice, tell everybody where they can find you.
It's Friday and Saturday morning, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, or the Sinners Time, or we call Antifa time. California, California time. However time you want to call it, at 7:30 that time, Friday and Saturday. The Avarice Show. Have a good one, guys.
Later, bro.
See you, Avarice.
I probably
So,
too, but sorry.
So then you kind of like, when you say there's no way to answer that, you concede my point about your foundation, right?
What is your point?
You're using logic as a necessary standard for determining what's true while admitting your worldview can't account for why logic applies to reality or why your mind is even reliably apprehending it. So on what basis do you trust the reasoning you're using against my worldview that it's God?
Okay. So you're asking like okay. I would say that the reason I can trust my reasoning is because like what I said before, like there is no other way for my reasoning to exist other than the way it exists. Like I cannot concede.
Yeah, you don't need to know why logic works in order to use it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can use logic without knowing its ultimate explanation.
Well, the point is, I don't think
my argument isn't that like atheists can't reason, right? Obviously, you can. We've had that. We're doing this right now, right? My argument is that you're borrowing a principle that your worldview leaves unexplained, right? That's why I ask whether your worldview can justify the universality or the necessity you're assigning to logic. You know what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying is that I don't think, okay, I think that you think you can answer that question, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't think you can. I know I can't. And so nobody can answer that question. There is no why logic exists. There is only using logic. There is no why my perception is accurate. There is only my perception is accurate.
I say I'll answer the question. It's because reality is created and sustained by a necessarily rational God. Logic isn't an arbitrary rule that's external to God that God has to obey. Logical consistency reflects God's necessary, unchanging, rational nature.
Yeah, but how do you know
creation comes from that same rational God? Reality is intelligible rather than contradictory. So because human beings are created by,
how do you know that is true? That God,
because I'm arguing that those things are preconditions for intelligible reasoning. I'm not inferring God merely because I'm not in this is you're getting mistaken. I'm not inferring God just because we haven't discovered another explanation. I'm challenging you to provide a worldview that can ground necessary logical truths, an intelligible reality, and rational minds capable of knowing those truths without simply assuming the things that you need grounding.
Again, we're talking past each other right now, okay?
We're not.
I think we are, because
I don't think you are.
You're operating.
I don't think so.
Operating on a worldview in which the principle of sufficient reason is true. If what you're saying is true, if the principle of sufficient reason is true, and everything requires an explanation, then it is true that there is something that logic requires an explanation. TAG works. All of this shebang shabooey. All of that makes sense. What I am saying is that I don't believe the principle of sufficient reason is universally true.
So then you're are you inferring that there are things that happen that cannot be explained that have no logical bounding or ties?
Propositions or facts. There are things such as brute facts. Brute facts are facts that are true in and of themselves and have no explanation. I believe in brute facts. I think logic is such a brute fact. I think the
What's
laws
a
of
brute
physics
fact?
are
Facts. I
probably-
actually was hoping you were going to say that.
What's a brute
Yeah.
fact? Can you-
No,
can you
don't.
list-
We
Johnny,
don't.
one sec.
Sorry.
Wait.
You go ahead.
So your position isn't that you've explained it why it's intelligible. It's that there's no further explanation. It's brute, right?
Correct.
I'm invoking the principle of sufficient reason, so our disagreement is clear.
Yeah.
I think unexplained contingent facts require sufficient reason, and you're
Correct.
willing to terminate explanation with brute facts.
Correct.
Okay, are you
Because it
saying
is.
logical truths themselves are brute, or that the fact that physical reality conforms to logic and our minds can apprehend it is brute? Because those aren't actually the same claim, right?
Well, I would say that this is where it gets really hairy, but I would say that it's because physical reality comports to those brute facts that they are true.
Okay, so okay, and why should I accept brute contingency instead of seeking a sufficient explanation?
Well,
Like, if that's just how
I don't
reality
think that there is
happens
a-
to be,
I don't think
is
that
it?
there is or should, right? I just think that there are such things as brute facts. It's not that you should not seek an explanation. You can do that if you want. The point is that there is no explanation.
What principled reason do you have for rejecting God as an ultimate explanation rather than simply preferring your stopping point? None.
Because I don't think you can prove brute facts.
Right. I understand that. So are you just trying to say God is just my brute fact?
Yeah, basically.
No, that's a categorical difference in what I'm proposing, right?
Well,
I'm
I don't
not
think
claiming God
brute
is
fact.
contingent.
I think God
Brute
yeah,
fact
it's
that
contingent.
happens
Yeah.
to exist without an explanation, right? Like like I'm claiming necessary existence belong to an ultimate ground of reality.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm saying we disagree on the universality of the principle of sufficient reason.
Are you saying that such a necessary ground is impossible or unnecessary?
Unnecessary.
So things can happen that don't need to be explained.
Yeah, apparently.
Essentially, yeah.
Bigfoot.
There are certain facts that have no explanation.
Unicorns and Bigfoot.
I know this is probably the most divergent. This is where the worldviews differ at their most fundamental level.
So at least in
So
your
you,
worldview,
yeah, okay, no,
not.
he's just saying he's willing to accept all of these things as just like brute facts and not give an alternative explanation. But
Real quick,
and he's also like
Christians
he
are
says he's
brute.
rejected basically, right? He's rejected the demand for an explanation.
Or has rejected a brute
what is your
fact.
one sec, Johnny? One sec. What is your proof? Sorry, Johnny. But what is your proof that there is no further explanation? Because Easy's providing you an explanation, but you're making the claim that there is no
right. Or
possible
I would even ask, what's his reasoning for accepting a brute fact over than the principle of sufficient reason?
Well, I think the principle of sufficient reason is not something that, like, the principle of sufficient reason is something you believe, right? It's like a thing. I don't have to prove not to believe in that thing, right? Like,
no, I'm asking, like, what's your reasoning for accepting brute facts rather than the principle of sufficient reason?
Because I don't think that there is a way to explain brute facts. It's like what you're saying as a proponent of the PSR is that you think the proposition is that every fact has a reason for its existence, or every fact has an explanation. That is a proposition that you believe in, right? I don't believe in that. right? It's not my burden to prove why I don't believe in that. It's your burden to prove why I should believe in that.
No, well, to be fair, Demos, what your burden is you're asserting that the brute fact is that God does not exist.
Well, wait.
No,
This
no,
is
not-
what I was gonna say. I agree when you say that, like, you don't. There's no way to explain brute facts. That's what a brute fact means by definition, right?
Yeah.
But like, my objection isn't that you failed to explain a brute fact. My objection is that you haven't justified why I should believe these facts are brute in the first place, right? Like, calling something brute isn't like an
Okay, do you
argument,
agree?
right?
Okay, let me walk through the logic here. Do you agree that if a fact cannot be explained, that it is brute?
You could just give us a
Well,
brute fact.
that's the definition of
Yeah,
brute
what
fact.
is a brute fact?
Give us a brute fact.
You would agree that
What fact is a brute fact?
Okay, wait, no. Let me just walk through this. Okay, so that's the first fact. The second would be if the principle of sufficient reason is not true.
Wait, when you say I just want to can I just ask to make sure, when you say cannot be explained, you mean we cannot explain or it, like literally cannot be explained?
Yeah, I mean, a brute
Like, if you
fact
mean it
doesn't-
has like genuinely no explanation in principle, then obviously yes, I'll just agree, right? Because that's
Beyond
what
our
we
level
mean
of
by a brute
comprehension.
fact.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a tautology.
But if you mean we currently cannot explain it, then I would actually say no, right?
No. I'm not saying we
Okay.
currently can't explain it. I'm saying
Okay. I just wanted
like,
to make sure.
by definition, a brute fact is a fact that cannot be explained, and a fact
if a fact that genuinely,
What's an example
if
of
you
one of
mean
those
a
facts?
fact that genuinely has no explanation, yes.
Okay. So then, if the principle of sufficient reason is not true, right, there exist unexplainable facts.
Like
what is
what?
one of those?
Okay, no. I'm just saying, like, the principle of sufficient reason is the idea if a fact exists, it is true. So if that principle is false, if a fact exists, then it has an explanation. That's the principle of sufficient reason.
I just want to make sure that I wrote down what you said before that, though. Before that, you said if the principle of sufficient reason is not true, then brute facts exist.
Yeah.
So what is a brute
no,
fact?
it wouldn't prove
is
by
one
itself.
brute fact?
No, right?
Why?
Contingent facts, like for example, like
I'll never know a brute fact.
how would I explain this?
The existence of air, something.
No. Because the logic is, right, like every relevant fact, right, depending on like the way your formulation is, but it's usually every contingent fact has a sufficient reasoning and explanation, right? Brute fact is a fact for which there is no sufficient explanation.
Correct.
Right?
What is an example of one of
Well,
those?
how do we know there's no sufficient explanation?
that's all we're
How would you
asking.
actually? How do you prove?
Right, so wait.
How would you prove that something is a brute fact?
You can't prove that something isn't a brute fact.
No,
How do you
is
prove
there
it is a
any
brute
law
fact?
that rules governing
The only
when or
proof
where a
that
brute
isn't
fact
a
can
brute
appear?
Is the point?
So,
right?
The rule is it's unexplainable. So we're trying to,
yeah.
No,
That's something that I'm
there's
like
something
really
he's
concerned
doing
about right
wrong here, right? So like,
because that's got me a little worried. Now, hold on. If
It's
brute
kinda
facts is
weird.
possible, is there any rules governing when or where a brute fact can appear?
No,
there has to be.
there are
So
probably-
a
in
brute
my
fact is
world-
an unexplainable event, right?
In my
So if a
worldview,
cup of
like,
coffee
there-
suddenly turns into a bowling ball on my desk, and there's no cause, no explanation, and no law behind it, is it then a brute fact?
No, I don't
Or
think.
an act of spontaneity.
I think that there are there are non-brute facts in the world. Like there
Do
are.
you believe there are
I mean,
brute
if
facts,
special cause
but
events are possible, then you can never
do you
trust
have an
defenses again,
example of
dude.
one of them?
Yeah, we just want one example of a brute fact so that we can find the grounding of why we what was the
Or sorry, A does not equal not
here's
A.
the thing. Here's the thing, right? Like, in order to believe something, it requires justification. Like, you believe in that, Demos. But when you then say, I believe in brute facts, then it's like, okay, what is your justification or what is your evidence of the brute facts? Because you have to provide the reasoning or like the methodology of how you identify what brute facts are.
Yeah,
and how do we work them
I
out.
was trying to elucidate the reasoning behind why I think brute facts exist, which is a threefold argument, right? It's if brute facts exist, there are facts that cannot be explained. That is a tautology, right?
I'm less worried about that and more worried about
Or
when do brute facts become brute
let's
facts?
okay? If there are facts that cannot be explained, brute facts exist. That's the first premise.
Yeah,
The
but
second
when do
premise
they
is,
exist?
if the
that's
principle of
premise one,
sufficient
yeah.
reason is not true, there are facts that cannot be explained. That's
So
the
would
second.
Okay.
So with that
No.
line of you go ahead, speak. I'm sorry.
No, he I get what he's saying now. Yeah, he's
if it can't be
right,
sufficiently
actually. He's
explained,
right.
it's the
He's
brute
basically
fact.
no. He's basically saying if I go to a parking lot and I say every car in here is yellow and there's at least one car that's not yellow, right? That means I mean if that's false, sorry. If I say every car in this parking lot is yellow, if that's false, that means there has to be at least one car in that lot that's not
Correct.
yellow.
Yeah.
And he's saying if the principle of sufficient reason is false, then that would entail at least one contingent brute fact. And
The brute fact being that there's a non-yellow car in the
yes,
parking
he
lot.
would be right, but you would actually have to give me the reason to reject the principle of sufficient reasoning to
Yes.
be incorrect, right? I don't assume brute
So-
facts exist in order to establish that the principle of sufficient reason is false.
But Demos, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right about what you said the first time, but you can't do that backwards, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you can't walk it back. But Demos, let me get one point. I just want to say, if you don't believe in the whole God aspect, right? Would the laws of logic in your purview be a brute fact then?
Basically, yeah.
Hey, question for you, and usually Steelborn asks these questions, but do you have a methodology for discovering which facts are brute facts?
Yeah, that's what
Well, re-examination. What's up, man?
That's kind of what I was wondering in the first place. Thanks for saying it like that, Rudy.
And just to clarify for everybody, a brute fact is based, you're saying that this is a fact and it requires no explanation.
Not
which is a
requires,
claim.
it has
Cannot.
no.
It has no. Cannot be
Sorry, yeah, it
explained.
cannot be explained. Yes.
It
So,
is because it is.
Like, because that's a positive claim that they're making. They're saying it is a fact that this fact has no explanation to it. That is a claim which requires evidence and justification. So then what is the evidence and justification?
Yeah.
Like, how do you determine what a brute fact
I
is?
provided my argument for why SpeakeaZy and I we've ironed the argument out for why I believe in brute facts. What SpeakeaZy was saying is that I cannot simply beg the question in the argument and say that the principle of sufficient reason is false, which is a fair argument to make. But what I would say is that let's say that there is no determination for whether the principle of sufficient reason is true, right? So we don't know whether facts require explanations. The default position there is not that facts require explanations. It's that someone has to prove that facts require explanations. And so in a world where we don't have that justification, it stands to reason that there exists at least one fact that does not have an explanation.
But hold on, if you're saying that
Not just one fact.
So what this whole debate hinges on is someone proving PSR to be true.
Well, wait, though. Contingent things don't contain the reason for their existence within themselves. So if they exist rather than not, there must be a sufficient reason why. You understand? Otherwise, we're saying something can obtain for literally no reason whatsoever.
Right.
That doesn't.
And on top of that, on top of that, if you're
Yeah,
saying
but
that
I am
if
saying
it requires an explanation, then what facts do require explanations? And no, because you have two things going on. You have foundationally these brute facts that are supposedly all the things that contingencies hang on, and that these dependency facts that hang on these brute facts require explanations, which doesn't reflect the nature of brute facts themselves. So why is there this asymmetry that contingent facts require explanations, which is why you demand evidence for it, but the foundation doesn't have what it takes, in fact negates the possibility of explanation?
Because they're going to be stuck at the impasse.
Brute
Here, let me
fact-
do.
there's also a
Let me
problem
do
with
one with you,
arbitrary
Deimos, that I heard somebody do before. Imagine a basketball appeared in that room out of nowhere in front of you, right? Would you accept that there's literally no explanation whatsoever? It just appeared, as equally rational to believing there's some explanation that we just haven't discovered yet?
Yeah, so I think that this is an interesting question.
You would say it's equally rational?
I
Yeah.
probably would not say it's equally
Oh,
rational.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I would say that a
Because
brute fact,
PSR, the principle of sufficient reasoning, is the it's behind it is the principle that's behind our instincts to look for the explanation.
yeah, I would say that instinctually the PSR exists. I would not say that that implies
Only
I would not
right,
say
so
that implies that the PSR is true. I would say that
Wait, did you
in
say
most
instinctually?
cases, PSR is true, but I would say that there are cases in which the PSR appears not to be true.
Is that just from a failure for the subject to actually comprehend what had just happened?
Can you give me an example too after? Go ahead, Johnny, but I just want
No,
to
like logic, right? Like I don't think that there is a principle. I don't think there is a sufficient reason for the existence or the truth of logic.
Well, that's a
hold
dismissal
on,
at that point. That's like, hey, the
following you
basketball
correctly,
popped up in
because
the middle of the
I
room,
don't really
and it's like, whoa, that came. Where the hell did that come from? But then the fact that you don't really want to contest, or not, I shouldn't say don't want to contest. The fact that the point of the basketball showing up in the middle of the room is so relevant. It's like, look, it's there now. We acknowledge its existence, but it doesn't matter how it got there. The basketball in itself is now brute
the whole
fact.
point of that what I asked, like for that hypothetical, is because nobody would think it was more rash or even equally rational to just assume there's no explanation. It just appeared here.
Yeah, like it was there and we didn't notice it.
It would even be more rational to assume that
Actually, I'll
leprechaun
explain
snuck
this.
it into your room.
I would say that one.
Right? Don't you think so, Deimos? It would be even more rational if you've seen two people trying to decide how this happened. One guy says it just appeared, man. There is no explanation. The other guy said leprechaun snuck it in here. Which one is more rational?
Yeah,
I did like that Demo said it was instinctual.
A skinwalker's a brute fact. Realistic, rational way. I would say that
I'm still trying to figure out how brute facts fit
basketball
into what
appearing in front of
your
you-
earlier described epistemology, to where
A
it takes two
basketball-
entities to share a reality in
Hold
order
up.
to communicate and
Let
ground
him answer
morals
that.
and
We're all
stuff.
talking at once, guys.
But you also say brute facts. But
Rev, let him answer. Let him answer, Rev.
Let
him answer.
Demos breathe.
It's all right. I hate to break this to you. I do have to leave. It's like 2:12 here.
Oh,
sorry, I was trying to.
I will
get a
give.
little
I will
long-winded
give
so he had time to breathe.
Dang it, Demos. I said breathe, not leave.
I promise.
Rex was waiting in the back. Rex was waiting in the back for you for a minute, and I was getting close to the end anyway. So let him have a little back and forth with you before you go.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say thanks for
wanna
coming.
answer
By
that
the way,
question.
everyone's. I appreciate you coming and sticking this out. A lot of
Can I-
people back out of this shit when they're on the opposite side. So
Sorry.
good on you.
Thank you. No, I was going to answer the basketball hoop question because a brute fact that I think exists is the principle of the conservation of energy, and I think that it's impossible for a basketball hoop to spontaneously appear without any explanation, because that would imply a violation of the conservation of energy, and so it would require an explanation.
Is the conservation of energy a brute fact?
Yes, I would say.
Okay, so would you say the laws of logic are also a brute fact?
Yes.
Would the violation of the laws of logic also be a brute fact? Because if you violate the laws of logic by a fallacy, that's a genuine error.
the violation of the laws of logic being false would not be a brute fact.
Okay, so if I make a fallacy, the fallacy itself is not confirmed by a brute fact.
Okay, the fallacy, as in this statement is fallacious, implies that this statement is false, which implies that the laws of logic are true. The laws of logic are true is the brute fact. The two above are the contingent facts which lead to the brute fact.
Okay, so but the brute fact is not the one recognizing that I made an error. It's me recognizing that I made an error, right?
In relation to the brute fact, yeah.
But the brute fact cannot confirm its own existence, right?
What does that mean?
The brute fact does not have cognition to recognize itself. It depends upon us as contingent beings to recognize the brute fact, right?
No, the brute fact is because it is.
No,
Yes.
I'm
That's
saying
what it
the brute
sounds like.
fact doesn't have any self-attestation.
I mean, I believe in an objective reality, so I would say the brute fact do have.
No, but the brute fact is just a negation. Hold on, the brute fact is just a negation of explanation, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Right. So if the foundation, here's the weird part. If the foundation of the universe is just a negation of explanation, then the foundation of things is not an affirming of something to give a grounding for something. It's just a negation of something, which is anti-factual in the first place. Because let's put it this way: if a brute fact is just no, like a negative of explanation, then on what grounds does the universe and reality, by which we say yes, this exists, come into being? Because the ground has to be an affirming ground of reality, something that is, not a reality of something that isn't, and a limitation explanation. It has to be something that is.
Yeah, okay.
To establish reality.
Yeah, I would say that the universe exists, or the existence of the universe is a brute fact.
See, yeah, and it's not because it's no, it's because it's so. So
Yeah,
what?
it is because it is. It is. That is the brute
so what?
Okay. What obligates me to believe that it exists?
The fact that it exists.
So truth is prescriptive. So truth is prescriptive to our thoughts.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so how can truth be prescriptive to our thoughts if there's no personal aspect to the basis of reality?
For anyone.
If there's no personal aspect to
Yes,
the basis.
because the laws of logic aren't persons that have responsibility in standing over me, right?
No, but they are because they are.
But that's separate than me being obligated to believe that they are.
You don't have to, though. So what if you do? So what if you don't?
You have to believe that they are. You
Then
do
not,
believe that they are.
Then
Oh,
how
I
do you,
don't believe
then,
that.
Okay.
It's
Then how do you,
impossible for you to not believe that they are.
right, but that would
Okay.
instantiate the fallacy, which means that not all thoughts are created equal. Some thoughts are actually correct and in line with reality and get an affirmation, but some thoughts are treated as error, as if I ought not think an error. I ought not believe
But
fallacies.
that's their PSA.
I got a brute fact for you. Brute facts are not real.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Hold up.
brute facts are not
Let Demos
explainable.
and Rex
Daniel-
have this little
I
exchange
go?
before we wrap up, boys.
No, that's a
Sorry, I'm
self-refuting
mute.
argument, Daniel. But yeah, go ahead.
What
Rex.
did you just say?
It's self-refuting.
I mean,
I thought it was just
yeah,
joking.
I know.
But go ahead,
No, I
Demos.
just called him a neckbeard. I was being a dick, but sorry. What I was saying is that thoughts are not the same thing as propositions, right? Do you acknowledge that?
You'd have to have a proposition with thought.
No, but like
I'm
if I
not
think
sure.
of- if I-
I'm not
it-
sure.
like-
So
like-
elucidate that for me.
like a thought, if I think the sentence, the dog, or like A is not equal to A. If I think that thought, if I picture that in my head,
Yeah.
that is not the same thing as a proposition or like a fact, right?
But you just made it.
I mean, it's kind of weird because in order to even say that, there would have to be an illustration of something in reference to something that's real in the first place. So to even instantiate that example, it would have to be intelligible, which it was. So I'm trying to figure out how that's not a proposition.
It's like the proposition A is not equal to A is not a
Yeah.
fact.
I agree that it is not a fact, but it is still intelligible as a concept, even if it's not a fact.
Yeah, it's intelligible. I guess you could say it's intelligible as a concept, but it's not intelligible as a concept which is a fact. It's intelligible as a concept which is like a proposition which is either true or false.
Sure, but I could think of something that hasn't been invented yet, but that doesn't mean I'm committing a fallacy just because the thing that hasn't been invented yet isn't real.
I didn't say you can think of things that aren't real and it not violate brute facts or laws of logic.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is what brings in the category of fallacy if all thoughts are just thoughts. If there's no rules, and
Like,
there's
okay,
no
I'll give you a
for
great
example,
example. I'll give you a great
do,
example.
Do brute facts make an evaluative claim on how us as rational and moral agents live and think?
No, they don't provide an evaluative, but they provide a operational boundary on how we can think. So,
Okay.
like, for example, if I were to think of a perpetual motion machine, if I were to think of that concept in my mind, right, that is not in and of itself a fact which has evaluative tendency to it, right? I can still think of a perpetual motion machine. It does not change the fact that a perpetual motion machine is impossible.
I get that, but what I'm asking is, what if there is no obligation to believe in a brute fact? That means there's no normativity, and if there's no normativity, there's no explanation anyway for anything at all, because normativity is what makes premises lead to conclusions.
You cannot act you cannot act as if brute facts are impossible or not true.
What
It is
brings that? Okay, why
impossible.
not? Where did that rule come from? Is that also a brute fact?
No, it's just it is. You can't act.
Yeah, and obviously,
Thing,
obviously reacts. That is the brute fact. The fact that you can't make it not a brute fact.
You can't. Yeah, it's tautological, right? Like you can't act in ways that violate the principle of non-contradiction. You cannot do that. It is impossible.
Well, I agree.
So
that you
not
cannot
everything
act-
can be a brute fact.
Well,
It's not evaluative. It's operational. You
Oh,
cannot.
I
do
agree.
it.
I agree that in the physical world that's true, but you can make fallacies.
Yeah, but
That means that there are epistemic errors that would deviate from a standard.
That isn't. It's hard for me to say this in a way that doesn't break language, but it's like words are not in themselves objects, right? Words are like constructions that we have created to describe objects. And so when we engage in conversation about propositions that are true or false, we're not creating facts or objects in the universe that exist. We are creating constructions that describe objects that exist.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. So it sounds like you're saying that these constructs, we make these constructs to communicate about things that are real around us, but the constructs themselves are only utility to our understanding and communicating with each other, right?
Exactly. So
right. I get that. I've heard that before.
I can construct the sentence, "This ball is not this ball," right?
Right.
That is a construct describing a thing. That thing cannot exist.
Yeah. So, but that's different than why I'm obligated to believe those sorts of things. There are people that make fallacies and think in circles all the time, but that would make we categorize that as an error, not just a deviation from a norm. So we would have to have purpose in order to say what is an error and then what is not an error.
Why do we address a fallacy as an error? Because that reasoning or that proposition that the person is saying is not in accordance with reality, because reality cannot accommodate things that violate brute facts.
I agree that's not in accordance with reality. The question is, why am I obligated to believe reality? Where does that rule come from? Just to say it's a brute fact begs the question of purpose. Because
it's not that you're obligated to believe in reality, it's that you have to. You do believe in reality.
Then who makes errors? If I have to believe in reality, then then you have to explain the phenomenon why it's wrong or incorrect for me to think a certain way. Because if we're just
it's
like we're taking for granted what kind of reality obligates me to believe that which is true, such as to, let's say would you teach creationism to you?
We continue to circle around this word obligate. I am not saying that you are or any person is obligated to believe in reality. It is not a matter of obligation. It is a matter of operation. Well, everybody has to believe in reality.
The fallacy is in the perceiver.
Okay. I think here's some equivocation I think that's going on. everybody believes in a version of reality. Not everybody believes in the same version of reality, right? But we are all obligated, I would argue, to believe that which is true, which is why we call things errors, why we correct each other, and why we try to get educated in the first place. So we agree that beyond our individual perception, there is a truth that we are not omniscient of.
Is reality objective?
That we have an obligation to understand.
Because I think we're not understanding. We're talking
No.
guys.
Guys, reality is objective. How we perceive reality is subjective.
Okay, let's say that we are viewing the universe in completely different ways. When I see a red square, you see a purple dildo. When I see a giraffe, you see a unicorn. When I see a person, you see a narwhal. Okay, that's just like our realities are totally bonkers. No matter what, you cannot affirm a contradiction. No matter what, you cannot believe that a thing is not itself. No matter what, you cannot add or decrease the amount of energy to that universe that you are in.
But you can misinterpret the thing.
No matter what you perceive in your reality, it is operationally impossible for you to violate any of those principles I listed. So it doesn't matter your perception. It matters it is impossible for you to contort reality in a different way other than those brute facts would allow you or constrain the reality as such.
Great. Let's say I took your position and I said the complete opposite. What's the tiebreaker between your proposition and my proposition?
You can't. I just did. Opposite proposition to that.
Okay, well, okay. Let's say I just said that you can believe A does not equal A, and you can do the opposite of all those things. What's the tiebreaker that obligates people to believe what you said versus what I said?
You cannot say. You cannot. There is no universe in which the words you spoke concord with any kind of reality.
Okay, I'm granting that, and I'm asking you, if I say the exact opposite of what you just said, what obligates people to believe what you just said and disbelieve what I just said?
Okay.
He's asking, how is P but not P real?
No, Johnny, let him, please.
Sorry.
Let's agree that the word truth, right? Truth means that which concords with or accords with reality. Okay?
Okay.
So that we just get the construction of the word right to the thing it represents.
Mm-hmm.
If you say it is true that A is not equal to A, that sentence cannot align with the definition of truth you just elicited.
I agree. We're past that part. You're not getting what I'm saying. Okay. Why should, this is an ought claim, why should people believe what you say? And I think the hidden assumption is people are obligated to believe true things and disbelieve false things. And you keep denying that but the problem is it's so wedded to what truth is that you're not discerning the difference between what is and our obligation to believe what is. And that's what I'm getting at, is if brute facts don't have the capacity to obligate us to believe what is, then brute facts are not on the table as some kind of explanatory understanding model.
It isn't an obligation. Okay, we just keep looping, dude. It's not an obligation. It's that
that's what brute facts do.
If it's not an obligation, then my claim of the opposite is just as valid as yours. If there's no obligation,
no, it's not, because there is no way for that claim to exist. It just doesn't.
I just made it.
Yeah, but whatever. Like your word, the words in what they
doesn't have to explain. Reacts.
The words and what they mean in that sentence don't it's impossible for that to be true.
Here's what's happening right now. I'm highlighting the fact that there is a rule that we ought to believe that which is true. You're pointing out circularly that, hey, what you're saying isn't true, and that's why you should believe it. And I'm saying, why are you obligated? And you're saying you're not obligated.
It's not about should. It's about can. It's about can. If you were to say, okay.
It is about should, because if what I'm saying is wrong, I should be corrected.
Okay, let me make this clear. Okay?
Because if not, then it'd be a brute fact.
Let's say that we assume that we're working within the rules of mathematics and numbers exist and all of this, okay?
Yeah.
So we're assuming that. If you work within that toolbox, the proposition 2 + 2 = 5 must be false. It's not that you have an obligation to believe that those things are false. It's that 2 + 2 = 5 is false under the rule set of mathematics, okay? So, in that same way, when we're talking in language, which is what we're doing, when we construct the sentence or the proposition A is not equal to A, you are not obligated to believe that that is false, or you are not obligated to not believe that that is true. It is simply false or true within the workshop of language.
Got it. So it's purely descriptive, and there's nothing prescriptive about how we ought to think.
Correct.
Great. So then the opposite proposition of all true propositions is of equal value because there's no prescription either way about how people should think.
Sorry, I have to leave. Bye-bye. This was fun. All right, TikTok is at Demosthenes Official. This was a fun conversation. If it wasn't 2:30, I'd continue, but we're just...
It was pretty fucking fun.
All right.
Pretty good stuff. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. No, you had him kind of cornered there because I get what you were saying. Like, literally, how do you falsify an unfalsifiable fact? And you're stating a falsifiable fact, and you're saying, well, yeah, because you can believe that. It's like, true, but what makes that false? Because the brute fact should be a true fact. That he was saying it is because it is. But then it's like, it's not. Even though you say it is because it is, it's like it's actually not. Well, how do you falsify that?
Right.
Exactly.
The lack of explanation to say that we can't is, I think, would just be a brute statement of like, I can ask the question, why can't we? How do you know that we'll never be able to explain the brute fact? What's behind the curtain? And then I would point to God. It's like God has something called aseity, meaning that he is self-sustaining. He is self-affirming by his very nature. He is the necessary being. And therefore, because he does exist in a positive sense, then he can be the grounding for other positive realities. Like this does exist, that does exist. But the universe, a universe based on there is no explanation beyond said thing, they can't do that because nothing that is impersonal can have aseity. The number 7 doesn't make the number 7 exist. The number 7 cannot obligate me to believe that it exists. The number 7 cannot make math exist. It would be dependent upon a construct of a mind. Math itself cannot obligate me to believe that it exists. And it can't tell me that I'm committing a fallacy when I'm committing a fallacy. And math, it can't tell me when I'm committing a mathematical error. That would have to be something conscious in order to make the rules by which not only I can't possibly break, but I should not break, like morals or fallacies. So
dang it,
that's what I'm trying to get
re-examination,
at.
Stop. You're going to make it brute ignorance instead of brute facts.
Oh, shit.
So that's why I wanted to come on, and he was kind of proving my point in a way he didn't realize, because he was supposing, like we all do, that if something is true, we have the responsibility to believe it. And I don't think that's been explored a whole lot. And that's what I'm trying to explore right now.
Yeah, and that's what was nice too, is because it kind of brought up it wasn't even being questioned. So it's like, why wouldn't you question anything? Why wouldn't you want to search for the truth? Well, it's just a brute fact. Really?
He just kept telling me what is, and when I got him to admit that it's merely a descriptor and there's no obligation to believe one or the other, then he got frustrated.
Where the fallacy is from the perceptor, not the actual fact itself.
Right, like if both people are thinking, one's thinking a fallacy and one's thinking something that is congruent with reality, but those are just descriptive facts until you have a standard by which we ought to think, which would be, in the case of morals, would be wrongdoing, and in the case of epistemology, it would be a fallacy. So, but if both people are doing things in a physical world with no rules, there's no morality. And if both people are thinking things in a world of chemicals, and there's no fallacy, there's no, a rock can't fall to the ground incorrectly. And if our brains are no more or no less physical than a rock just falling to the ground, there's no moral significance in either case. Thank you for having me, SpeakeaZy. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag you out even further.
No, you're good. You're good.
Whatever.
We love hearing from you, re-exam. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good show. Really good show tonight. I was about to go to bed too, and then man, start getting all that out. Fuck.
But yeah, we are going to wrap it up now, boys. So
Yeah.
if anyone has any last words they want to say, just
check your
get 'em
DM,
on
SpeakeaZy. I sent you the basis for what I just kind of did because I had an interview over that argumentation. But you know, up to you. But I think you'd find it interesting.
Oh yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah. No, yeah, always
Anyone else
appreciate
got
it.
some words?
You know me, man. I always appreciate what you do, Speak. You're always entertaining, and appreciate everybody who comes on the panel. You know, keeps you engaged, and are you not entertained? And
yeah.
Yeah, Jesus is Lord. Jesus is God.
Amen, brother.
Glory be with him.
See you guys later.
Terry, you're streaming?
Yeah.
Of course, baby. Gonna be doing a bit of the film room. Gonna be starting off with the shit talks as well. So make sure to stay tuned for that one, folks. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Facts.
Also,
facts.
Shout out to Easy. Putting on a great show tonight, as always. And appreciate you having me on, Easy.
Can't wait to see everybody
Appreciate you
tomorrow.
guys coming through. Appreciate everyone coming through.
And just one quick question before I go. Rex, do you know what an Irish goodbye is?
Yes. Goodbye.
Shit. I almost forgot.
Got him.
Those damn stickers. I don't know if you got them. I sent them to that damn address in Texas that I got the cup from. So I don't know if the print shop got them to you or not. That might have been a false or a bad move on my part. But
Yeah, that wasn't a good idea.
I didn't know. I didn't want to try to dox your address or
Now
nothing.
now some randoms got it, but that's all right.
It's good stuff. Bunch of high quality stickers. No sweat. No sweat.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
boys.
everybody.
Thank
Night.
you for coming up. Appreciate you all.
God bless, gentlemen. See y'all tomorrow.
God bless. God bless. And chat, you beautiful chat, you. I cannot thank you guys enough. All right. You guys are absolutely amazing. Nailed the dono goal for the night. All right. Yeah. Actually, so what it is you need over 1,000 subs to be able to redirect to other channels. So we just hit 1,000 during the stream. So it won't let me redirect this stream, but by next stream we'll be able to do the redirect. So can the mods all share Teriak's stream in the chat so that everybody can go over to Teriak's, because Teriak's going to be continuing on. So make sure you guys all go enjoy that. All right. But yeah, everyone go over to that live, please, and ghetto raid him for now. Give him the ghetto raid because this channel, it's gonna be able to do it next time though. All right, it's gonna be able to do it next time. So, like I always tell you. All right. Oh yeah, and the open panels and stuff, these are gonna start being on these. The open panel chaos and chills, they're gonna be on here. Hot seats are probably gonna be on here. Probably VKO's gonna be on here. Stuff like that. All the more chaotic stuff. I may do my drama streams on here now instead. We're trying to do big things with the main channel, so you know. We already got VK on there. There's only so much room for chaos on the professional channel, you know what I'm saying? But like I always tell you, it can be 30 in the chat. It can be 2,000 in the chat. Best chat on YouTube, hands fucking down. And Rumble. Love you guys. God bless you all. Have a beautiful evening, morning, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And for now.
This is Sparta! Spartans! What is your profession?